on the 14th of November, which was yesterday, and there was high drama that unfolded in the city following the death, with huge crowds gathered around the area where he was killed and expressing their anger against the civic authorities. Some residents even blocked the road and sat on the JCB, refusing to get up till the problem had been resolved. Let's listen into what the victim's family also had to say.
ಅವ್ರ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಗೆ ಒಂದೇನೊಂದು ಅನುಕೂಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಏನೋ ಜೀವನ ಸಾಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವನು ಮಗನೂ ಏನೋ ಅಂತ ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವನೇ ಇವತ್ತು 17,000 ಸಂಬಳ ಬರ್ತದೆ.
ಸರ್, ಇದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ 58 ಇಯರ್ಸ್.
56 ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 58, 56.
ಬಿಬಿಎಂಪಿಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳೋಣ?
ಬಿಬಿಎಂಪಿಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗುಂಡಿ ಮುಚ್ಚ್ರಿ, ಪೈಪ್ ಲೈನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಚ್ಚ್ರಿ, ರೋಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ರಾಜನಗರ ರೋಡೆಲ್ಲ ಗಬ್ಬೆಬ್ಬಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಮುಚ್ಚಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಮ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡಿ. ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಾನೆ ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಬಿಬಿಎಂಪಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು?
Apathy by civic agencies has claimed yet another life in Bengaluru, this time in Rajajinagar D block, where we are standing right at the spot where a person, of course, was run over by a tractor. Now you can see this particular stretch of the road, the residents say for about 6 months has been dug up for, a pipeline work which is being carried out by the BWSSB. They're saying that the work had to be finished in a couple of weeks. It has only been postponed time and again, and leaving the road in this condition. Now, in the CCTV footage which has been captured very close to the location, it clearly shows that the person loses, control of his bike and falls, right on the road, and after which, of course, a tractor which was traveling next to him runs over him. Residents here, of course, are furious. How long has this road been like this?
So, as the local resident, he is the next door of where the accident happened. As he is telling, morning 9:45, the accident happened, and it has been recorded live, detailed in his CCTV camera. The recording has been taken by the local police, and they have all the visuals. The incident has happened, and till now, no one, the responsible authorized people have not even come here and inspected, and they have not taken any local action also. Being the local resident, this is not the one problem what we are seeing. Daily.
I'd like to ask you, how long has this road been in this condition?
It's more than 6 months. More than 6 months.
How much of a difficulty has it been for all of you here?
That people can say. See, it is a nightmare for us to walk even in the daytime.
Okay. You all been facing the same problem when you're riding the bike?
How this, sir?
Okay. What we've also been told is that the police have not booked any civic agency in the FIR that has been registered.
Not a contractor has come, nor the engineer has come. Police people are just standing around us.
Okay. Well, as you can see, the residents, of course, are furious. They've been commuting on this stretch of the road, which has been in this, poor condition for months together now. They're saying, nobody has come to even inspect the spot after, the death has occurred. Now, there are some protests as well that are taking place. They've blocked the road with a JCB here, and the residents here protesting. Meanwhile, around, you can see police as well have been deployed in this region because, there are protests that have erupted. The demand also is that, in such cases, the police should, really book the civic agencies responsible for leaving the condition of the road in such a state. But time and again, we've seen that FIRs don't really pull up the civic agencies, really, questioning who's going to be held accountable and how is the accountability even going to come, if the civic agencies are not booked.
That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Let me now hand it over to Times Now's Editor-in-Chief, Rahul Shivshankar, for the day's big debate on India Upfront.
Thanks indeed, Siddharth. Viewers, the focus continues to be on the big crime story that broke yesterday. Fresh disclosures in the Aftab Shraddha murder case have only served to further horrify the public, viewers. The most recent visuals of Aftab have come into Times Now. On the one side, you can see he's in the police lockup, and you can see him lying on the floor on a mattress and wrapped in a blanket. There, it's very clear. Just focus in the middle of your screens, and you see a jail official outside that jail, and on the floor is Aftab. On the other side, you can see him being led into a forest in South Delhi. Here he is reported to have helped the police recover some of Shraddha's dismembered body parts that he allegedly discarded after killing her. That's what the police are telling Times Now off record. Sources in Delhi police have also told Times Now that Aftab has shown little remorse and has confessed to how he planned to dispose of Shraddha's body. Viewers, he has admitted apparently to killing Shraddha, telling the police in 4 words, "Yes, I killed her." He's speaking exclusively in English to the police. The police say that he has confessed to going on to Google so that he can acquire the right chemicals that could be used to wash the floor clean of any traces of blood, as also DNA, in his rented accommodation. He also Googled ways to cut a human body neatly, sever it, and he used medical bags to dispose of the body parts. That's what he has told the police when they have been questioning him all these days. Highly placed sources in the Delhi police have also told Times Now that they have electronic evidence to establish that Aftab moved on with his life very quickly after killing Shraddha. He's also confessed to his actions moments after allegedly killing Shraddha. The fresh disclosures have helped the police piece together the crime and also acquire an insight into Aftab's cold and calculating mind. So what are these revelations? According to the police, the sources who have been speaking to us, Aftab said that he met another girl via dating app after 20 to 25 days of Shraddha's murder, that he didn't really wait. He was not woebegone in any particular way. Aftab confessed to having sex with another girl as Shraddha's body lay inside the house. He hid Shraddha's body parts inside the cupboard before having sex with the other girl so that she would not be aware of what was going on, and used special chemicals to erase DNA samples and also, of course, fumigate the room so that the smell of the decomposing flesh would not waft through. Aftab told the police reportedly that he allegedly sat on Shraddha's chest and smothered her during an argument that he was having with her, and he kept Shraddha's body inside the bathroom after murdering her. Finally, he discarded Shraddha's blood-stained clothes inside an MCD garbage disposal van. This is what he has been telling the police, viewers, in the last few days that I told you in custody. In fact, Aftab was always hoping to get away with his crimes. He in fact has created an elaborate smokescreen to mislead the police as well as any other person who might have suspected that Shraddha, something horrible had happened to her. So as he did all these things so that they won't be able to pin either the murder on him or be really suspicious about where she had disappeared. So he dumped Shraddha's phone in Maharashtra to create an impression that she had actually left him and returned to her home state. He cleaned the floor, as I've told you, with acid to remove DNA traces, chatted with Shraddha's friends using her Instagram account to suggest that she was still alive and active on social media, kept Shraddha's Insta account active till June to give the impression that she's alive, and dumped the machete in Delhi forest, discarded clothes in a garbage truck. Now remember, viewers, while all of these are confessions, unless he's made to confess before a magistrate, this will not be used against him, and this could easily lead to and this is unfortunate, viewers, but could very well lead to him being released by the courts. This has happened in a few rape cases recently where the police was not able to build a proof-based prosecution against the suspect, and also not able to piece together circumstantial evidence to invoke enough doubt. But according to the police, viewers, the proof is mounting that they are actually acquiring material witnesses. They are speaking to people who can help them pin Aftab's guilt down. That's what we are being told. they have spoken to those right after the crime was committed or thereabouts, who sold, in fact, Aftab a knife or a cleaver or a machete of 1.5 feet, which was used to kill Shraddha. They have also been able to, through him, recover some of the body parts. And what we are being told, viewers, is that a proper sweep of the refrigerator has also been conducted, which seems to suggest that there are traces of Shraddha's DNA in that refrigerator. Now, Shraddha's father has broken his silence. He spoke to Times Now and he has told us that the relationship was not acceptable to him or other members of the family because Aftab was a Muslim. Elsewhere, the father is also quoted as having said that he suspected there was a religious dimension to this killing, that there was a religious motive behind the killing. Listen to Shraddha's father speaking to Times Now.
कब बात हुई थी आप लोग की लास्ट, और इस आफ्ताब पे शक कब हुआ आप लोग को?
उन लोग को शक तो मतलब उनके श्रद्धा के दोस्त है, उन्होंने इन्फॉर्म किया कि श्रद्धा कुछ मीटिंग का मुझे लग रहा था जी, ये उन्होंने बताया कुछ अगस्त में। हाँ, तब हम लोग फिर कंप्लेन करने गए थे वैसे पुलिस, हमारे लोकल पुलिस में। इसको बताया,
मतलब फैमिली को बताया था कि मदर को बताया था कि मार्केट कर रहा था आफ्ताब मेरे साथ और इस टाइप की चीजें।
मार्च
तो पिटाई मतलब
हाँ, वो माँ से वो लड़की ने मेरे को बताया कि वो हम लोग शायद सेपरेट रहेंगे, ये मुझे मारता है तो हम लोग शायद ब्रेकअप करने वाले हैं, ऐसा कुछ। मुझे उसके माँ ने बताया कि जून में आई थी मेरे पास। एक्चुअली जब भी उसने डिक्लेयर किया कि श्रद्धा इज नो मोर, तब मैं इतना कंडीशन में नहीं था सुनने के। तभी जब भी बॉम्बे में वो जॉब करने लगी तभी उसकी मुलाकात की आफ्ताब से हुई। उसी कंपनी में वो भी काम कर रहा था जी।
तो रिलीजन के कारण या उसके कंडक्ट के कारण कुछ आप लोग को लगा लड़का खराब है, क्यों नहीं किया? रिलीजन बहुत एन इशू और
नहीं, फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन तो वही था मेरा कि रिलीजन तो हम लोग इतना वो ये नहीं करते हो। मैं और मेरी बात गई थी और मेरे सिस्टर भी गई थी, तो उसने हम लोग से उल्टा सवाल करने चालू किया।
Well, viewers, Shraddha's friends are also corroborating that she wanted to leave Aftab because he was often physically abusive towards her. What we know, according to some of the friends who have spoken to Times Now, is that Aftab was often violent with Shraddha, used to assault her. Shraddha was scared of this violence that was directed towards her by Aftab, and he had often threatened to also kill her. There was also a degree of mental torture, emotional blackmail, and Aftab threatened to commit suicide. That's how he would sort of blackmail her if she left him. And despite all of this, the friends say that Shraddha was actively looking for a place to move out. In Delhi, of course. She wanted to move out of this home that she shared with Aftab to another place in Delhi, but then soon after disappeared. This is what some of the friends have told us, viewers.
वो 2018 के बाद से ही उसके मान लीजिए कि व्यक्तित्व में परिवर्तन आने दिखने लगा था हम लोगों को। तो उसके पीछे का कारण कहीं ना कहीं शायद आफ्ताब का आना था। 2019 में खैर हमको पता चला है कि आफ्ताब के साथ रिलेशनशिप में है। श्रद्धा ने मैसेज किया था अपने बचपन के दोस्त को, लक्ष्मण को, कि वो आफ्ताब से बहुत बुरी तरीके से डरने लगी है। उसको ऐसा लगता है कि आफ्ताब शायद उसकी जान भी ले सकता है। मतलब वो एक रात थी जब मैसेज किया था कि प्लीज़ मुझे यहाँ से रेस्क्यू करो, नहीं तो फिर हो सकता है कि आज रात मेरी आखिरी रात हो। क्योंकि वो डैड के साथ ऑलरेडी कनेक्टेड नहीं थी, मॉम के साथ अब मॉम अब रही नहीं इस दुनिया में। तो मेरे ख्याल से वो एक सिचुएशन आ गया था जो वाकई में वल्नरेबल हो चुकी थी वो, और इस वल्नरेबिलिटी का कहीं ना कहीं फ़ायदा उठाया होगा शायद मेरे ख्याल से आफ्ताब ने, क्योंकि आफ्ताब एट दी एंड अब वो लवर नहीं बल्कि क्रिमिनल बन के जो दिख के आ रहा है दुनिया को। तो ये समझ में आता है कि उसका जो रियल मोटिव था वो लव था ही नहीं।
So that is when it became a point of concern for me कि I should actually start reaching out to people, and आज कोई मुझे अपडेट नहीं मिला तो फाइनली मैंने उनके ब्रदर को बता दिया, कांटेक्ट नहीं हो पा रहा है, सो इट्स बेटर दैट वी रीच आउट टू कॉप्स एंड चेक सीक फॉर देयर हेल्प करके बोला कि प्लीज यहाँ मेरे घर पे आ जा, मुझे बाहर लेके जा, अगर आज रात को मैं इसके साथ घर पे रही तो ये मुझे मार डालेगा। ऐसा भी झगड़ा हुआ है उनके बीच में, और हम दोस्तों ने मिलके उसको उसके घर से उस दिन बाहर भी निकाला था और आफ्ताब को वार्निंग भी दी थी।
Well, viewers, after the family alleged a possible religious dimension to the crime, Shraddha's grisly murder has now taken a sharp political turn, with various political parties leaping in. Listen to some of these reactions that have come in.
ये एक षड्यंत्र है भारत में, गैर मुस्लिम लड़कियों को, हिंदू की लड़कियों को अपने फांस में जब लाना, चाहे प्यार मोहब्बत, चाहे वेशभूषा बदल करके, और फिर अगर धर्म नहीं स्वीकारा तो उसकी यही हालत होती है। न राहुल गांधी बोलेंगे और न जिन्ना के रास्ते पर चलने वाले ओवैसी बोलेंगे।
ये भी दिखाता है कि ये क्रिमिनल माइंडेड इंसान जो है वो हो सकता है कि दूसरे भी महिला के साथ कुछ हो सकता था, पर मैं तो ये कहूंगी कि ऐसे केसेस जो है फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट पे चलाना चाहिए और तुरंत ऐसे लोगों को समाज में से प्रिजन के अंदर होना चाहिए और ऐसे लोगों को फांसी की सजा मिलनी चाहिए, ताकि कोई और दोबारा ऐसे कोई क्राइम करने के बारे में सोचे भी नहीं।
Well, let's open this up, viewers. Many people are saying that this was not a crime of passion, that there was a degree of diabolism, etc., etc. Ishkaran Bhandari, what do you make of this? The family has come out and alluded to a religious dimension. Of course, the BJP has come out and built on that narrative. Would you say that you also believe that this was not just a crime of passion? Or do you believe that this was indeed a spat between two lovers?
Rahul, the family has alleged a religious angle to this. But let us be clear and let us have some harsh truths on your channel. There is a problem of grooming gangs in UK and there is a problem of love jihad in India. No less than Rishi Sunak said, political correctness is stopping us from calling out particular groups of people perpetuating these crimes. In India, this problem is love jihad. I do not know how deep the grooming gang problem also is in India, because we are not willing to talk about it. Let us be very clear. Before we get into BJP, Congress, XYZ, Kerala High Court, as early as 2009, said frame laws on love jihad to stop forced religious conversion under the garb of love. 2009, they based it on police report, a government in which either communist or congresses are in power, and all these demands have been raised by the Christian community there. So nothing to do with Hindus, BJP or Hindutva. It is a problem which we are shoving under the carpet. I am very happy that at least you are discussing it, because we have had media personalities saying when it is a case of a Dalit girl in the headline, Dalit girl XYZ done by upper caste men, but when it comes to this case, they don't even name the accused in the headlines. We all live in social media. There are documents to show, there is research to show. If the name is not in headline or it's in the fourth paragraph, nobody knows about it. That is what they do. Shove the name in the fourth paragraph, not in the headline, except when it suits their agenda, so that we don't discuss on these topics. So let us discuss on this. Nikita Kumar case. We have seen what happened in the case. The government has gone to High Court asking for it. UP framed a law of anti-love jihad. They have called it anti-love jihad law, in which there is one conviction. So court has upheld this. We are talking about legal judgments here, where there was cross-examination, where the defense had all the rights, where a big ecosystem is funding defense counsel. Even if they don't fund it, there is legal aid. So we have judgments on this now. Let us be very clear. On the cost of political correctness, we cannot keep shoving these topics, because we are doing real-time danger to young girls of this country. What has happened in this case, the police will have to find out. But one last thing I would say, when something happens in Kathua, a terrible crime happens, they link it with the religious place it happens, call it Devistan, called it temple, called it Mandir mein hua. इस केस में क्यों पूरी बॉलीवुड में, क्यों लिबरल इकोसिस्टम के मुंह में दही जम गई है? अब क्यों नहीं बोल रहे आफ्ताब अमीन ने ये किया है?
Okay, let's get Sanjay Jha into this. Sanjay Jha, how do you respond to Ishkaran Bhandari? He is alleging that political correctness is stopping people from asking the honest questions or examining the problem dispassionately.
Well, Rahul, firstly, I have come here only to comment on the politics that is obviously in India. Nothing runs away from politics. Is how that is really becoming center stage. As far as the crime is concerned, is so disgusting and sickening that I'm frankly speechless. I mean, the man is barbaric, is brutal, is ugly, and it's a mentally sick individual you're talking about. I would just tell everyone, especially those who are sympathetic here to, I heard what Mr. Giriraj Singh was talking on your show, is please do not spoil an already polarized atmosphere before the criminal investigation is able to establish the truth behind this extremely repugnant act of murder. Right now, all I can, say to your show is my sympathies to all her friends and to her family members, and because for them too, it must be a nightmare because they knew them intimately, and this must be horrific. But I do believe that we should all, I'm part of the political ecosystem, Rahul. You're a very responsible and a well-known journalist. And I do believe we need to exercise some degree of self-respect. Once it is established, for example, as the allegation goes, if the father of the unfortunate victim has said that there could be a religious angle, well, let that be very transparently investigated. If it is established, I will be the first person to come on your show and say that this is a matter of great concern for society. But at the moment, to speculate and to give it some kind of a political complexion, I would recommend that people be a little more.
Ishkaran Bhandari, that's a fair point Sanjay Jha is making, because we don't have the police coming out and making a clear claim like this.
Yes, Rahul. It is a fair point which tries to bury the issue. He said that if there is a clear-cut police version, so let me be very honest, in UP there is a clear-cut police version in which they say love jihad is a reality. 108 cases have been filed, in 72 charge sheet filed. So police has completed investigation, filed charge sheet, they want to have a trial. The first conviction has happened where Abdul, who pretended to be a Hindu, to marry, has been convicted by a court. So why doesn't he condemn love jihad is a problem in Uttar Pradesh? Let him say that statement.
Okay.
Can I make a point here?
Yeah, of course.
Ishkaran, my simple point here is this, and this is the tragedy of our polity, that while it is true that there would probably be cases where there are certain warped, sick minds who may be actually playing this devious game. I'm not denying that there are no diabolical examples of such hate crimes. At the same time, Ishkaran, you will also have to be pragmatic enough to accept that there is a very ugly, vicious communal polarization game also going on, and that is why the line between truth and reality or truth and fake gets blurred, which is why all of us today have to be a little circumspect. And I'm just requesting it only from the point of view is that the last thing you want is that we get further fractured and fissured. I say so with responsibility, and you people disagree with me.
Okay, please, quick response.
Sanjay, there was a very clear-cut question. Love jihad conviction in UP. Kerala High Court saying frame anti-love jihad law. These are courts and different states passing judgments. Why is that not a center stage of debate? Why would there not be communalism if the reason of love jihad is communalism or religious superiority? How can there not be a debate when the perpetrators of the crime have that reason in their mind? Let us stop being politically correct. I hope you come up and save the young girls of this country who are being trapped into these, I don't know, love or whatever it is called. कभी सूटकेस की गलती है, कभी फ्रिज की गलती है, कभी नाइफ की गलती है. वो सब गलतियां नहीं है, गलती मानसिकता की, और वो मानसिकता कहां से आ रही है? Let us be very clear about that. Let us save these young girls.
Okay, well, viewers, look, one size doesn't fit all. There are obviously shades of differences, and people will say that, look, till we don't have the evidence here, we should not attach a communal motive. Yes, the family is free to make whatever connections they want to draw to this. The friends who have spoken firsthand to Shraddha are perhaps better informed, but there is one thing, and I want to bring in Karan Verma here. Karan Verma, there are people who are saying that Shraddha apparently talked to her mother and to her friends about the physical abuse that she was suffering. But despite that, no one really stepped up to act or intervene in any which way. Were they being too politically correct for Shraddha's own good? Ishkan Bhandari certainly believes so. Is it plausible? We all know that for a while now there has been a section of people, you know, let's call them minority rights activists for the lack of a better word, I don't know, whoever, who have often flagged any opposition to interfaith marriages as born out of a deep Islamophobia, in this case if it happens to be a Hindu-Muslim alliance, etc. Would we even be discussing this case had it been another, you know, religion, had this been some other denominations? So where do you stand on this, Karan Verma? Because look, a large number of people are pointing out to the manner in which this is being reported. The media is also under attack. Someone even said about Times coverage that look, they didn't mention the name of the perpetrator, they didn't mention the religion, but in the past they have. They pointed out the name, if it is a Hindu who has gone ahead and done this to a Muslim, etc., etc. You know how this is played out.
Right. Rahul, you know, the one big lesson, the one big takeaway that we can have from this tragedy is that we should not brush things under the carpet. And this applies to everyone, be it to those irresponsible media portals who are deliberately not giving a name here and trying to hide the religious identity. Let's wear it. Let's know here that yes, there was a Muslim man, there was an interfaith religion couple that where this happened, this tragedy happened. Liberals always cry from rooftops that they should have an open mind. So let's discuss the possibility that yes, there could be a case of love jihad here. Had the neighbors and the friends also not brushed it under the carpet, fearing these labels of being called Islamophobic or anti-Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb or someone who is spoiling the ethos of the society, they could have probably reported this and this life could have been saved. Mr. Sanjay Jha talks about exercising caution here, but he also puts a label on you. Rahul, please be responsible. Please be correct here. The fact of the matter is, till we don't address the issue, this garbage will keep piling up as long as we deny it, and this barbarity is an outcome of this denial. We did not
but there are many people.
Those chants,
Let me play devil's advocate
we were in denial
with you, sir.
Till Kanhaiya Kumar happened.
No, fair. I understand the thrust of what you're saying, but Mr. Verma, let me say this, and let me, for now, make it quite clear that there is no implicit proof that this was anything to do with religion, apart from the fact that there were certain people on Shraddha's side and possibly even on the boys' side who opposed this union because it was an interfaith union. So, apart from that, there is no proof.
I want to answer this.
Even the police have not, in any of the FIRs, come out. So, why can't we just treat it like a case of a relationship turned grievously sour?
All I'm saying, Rahul, is let's keep the possibility of a case of love jihad, maybe. Let's not rule that out also. Let's not jump the gun and create this brouhaha, arey nahi, love jihad nahi hai, love jihad nahi hai. Maybe it is a case of love jihad. I don't know. Let's stick with I don't know. Yesterday you exercised great caution and you did not talk about love jihad or any implicit angle, but today it's the father of the girl who is saying there may be a case of love jihad. He's requested the police to inspect that angle. So it's only fair that let's not jump the gun and rule that out. Maybe it is a possibility. Ishkaran rightly pointed out, there has been a conviction in love jihad. There have been so many cases where this is happening. These people were in denial of Sartan Se Juda till it happened. They've been in denial of love jihad till there have been convictions and cases. So let's not jump the gun and brush it under the carpet. We can talk about relationship counseling, other things, how our society is breaking down, but it is breaking down primarily because we are quick in labeling. We are quick in labeling this is responsible journalism, this is Islamophobic, this is xenophobic, this is woke. Let's address the problem for what it is. And liberals, they keep crying, keep an open mind. Let's keep an open mind on this issue. Let's examine it from all possibilities. This could be a Hindu-Muslim issue.
Okay. Well, Rashid Khan, how do you respond to Mr. Verma, who says all we are saying is keep your mind open to another possibility. That's all.
No. Rahul, right now, Aftab is a criminal. He's an animal, as well as he has committed a heinous act for which, through fast track court, he should be hanged. I strongly condemn this criminal act. Nor do I support, nor do I justify him, nor do I defend. But I kindly request everyone, let's not give this crime a communal angle or polarize. Love jihad, this is not constitutional word. Ghar wapasi, this is not constitutional word. These words have been used by BJP to polarize, and BJP has used this weapon. BJP has basically using this weapon since long to polarize. So let's not give this crime a face of love jihad and thing. And if at all, if you want to talk about all these things, you have to accept that in 2017 an RSS affiliated group, the Hindu Jagaran Manch, started a campaign calling Beti Bachao Bahulao. The outfit had planned to felicitate around 2100 marriages of educated Muslim girls to Hindu boys. You even have to mention this thing. And likewise, All India Hindu Mahasabha, a fair right Hindu political party, had announced a prize of 2 lakh to Hindu boy for marrying a Muslim woman. All these are criminals. Let it be Aftab, let it be this right-wing organization, whatever. So, all these are criminals. We have to boycott all these things, and we cannot give every criminal, offense as a communal angle. This is absolutely wrong. A girl has died. Think about that thing.
Politics.
That boy is a barbarian. That boy is a psychopath.
He's a psychopath. His religion doesn't matter. Sushil Pandit, this is what Rashid Khan is saying. Let's rise above these communal dog whistles, etc., etc.
Don't have anything to do with their religion.
Okay, fair enough. Let me bring in Sushil Pandit. Look, as I've been constantly directing our viewers to take note, right now, the police have not corroborated. Yes, of course, viewers, the father of this young woman who was brutally murdered, no one deserves this kind of treatment. Obviously, the person who has committed this crime, if so, remember viewers, I'm playing it safe because otherwise people will troll you and me for saying what I'm saying with definitiveness. So I am making very clear that I'm only saying that if he was allegedly guilty, then he is an animal who needs to be treated as such under the law with the harshest punishment. But Sushil Pandit, are we jumping the gun here to communalize? Rashid Khan says don't do it please, because this leads to the vilification, the labeling of every interfaith union.
I can narrate multiple documents.
Yeah, okay. Let Mr. Pandit respond to you. I'll come back to you, sir. No problem. Yes, Mr. Pandit, go ahead.
Thank you, Rahul, for having me on the show, and good evening to all my fellow panelists and your viewers. You see, what is the status right now? Police says they have a confession, and now they are busy piecing together the evidence so that they can build a foolproof case. That is the status right now.
Yeah.
They haven't even filed the charge sheet,
it's true,
as I understand. We are all expressing our opinion, maybe speculating, and you are asking us to opine whether this is a case of love jihad.
No, I'm not.
And we are supposed to be.
No, I'm not.
We are supposed to.
No, one second. No, very, very clearly, let me put this out there. Not Times Now. Times Now is not asking this question.
Don't polarize.
No. I'm saying our fellow panelists.
Yeah.
The panelists are discussing whether it is the case of love jihad or not.
Yeah.
The irony is, we are discussing this whether it is a case of love jihad with those who are in denial about love jihad. They don't even admit to the fact that there is something called love jihad.
No, Mr. Pandit, what they are saying is, show us the proof. That's what they're saying. Back it up through proof. They're saying that
No, of course.
even
but they
official
say till now there
documentation
is
never
no proof
refers
that
to
there
this
is-
as
there
love jihad.
ever
So
has been a case of love jihad. Both the esteemed panelists like Mr. Rashid Khan and Mr. Sanjay Jha say that we should not talk about love jihad as a concept, as a reality. They are in denial about it.
no, they are asking
we are
for
supposed-
proof. Yes, Sanjay Jha. Okay, let me get him
Let
in.
me come to the proof.
Okay,
let me come to the proof.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, one second. Mr. Pandit, just hold your horses. 1 second. Let me bring in Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, what's the point? Do you believe that there is love jihad? Sushil Pandit says that you're in denial about it. I thought you were saying that you wanted more proof to establish that connection. What exactly are you demanding here or saying? What's your stand?
Rahul, thank you very much for intervening and giving me a chance to respond to what I consider is Mr. Pandit's deliberate lie. That's a malicious lie. He clearly has chosen not to listen to me, and he's right now sitting on your panel having this self-righteous expression, but he's lying to his teeth. I never said anything of the kind. Mr. Pandit, after this show is over, kindly listen to it, because I can tell you straight on your face today that you lie. And people like you are a danger to society. Now let me tell you what I said. I said it is possible that there will be cases where there are some malevolent minds who are actually trying to harm women who belong to the majority community. That could be true. But I'm saying that it cannot be generalized for the entire society as a whole. And secondly, it is becoming a political game. That's a tragedy of our times.
Okay, Sushil Pandit.
Mr. Pandit, I hope you heard me out.
Okay, Sushil Pandit. That's what
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you for giving Sanjay Jha a chance, because that's how he has implicated himself. When we talk about love jihad, we talk about an organized community, an organized system that wages this kind of crime against another community. Now he says that some malevolent mind may have done it, but let's not communalize it. That's what he said. Love jihad is a communal
He's saying, let's
program.
not generalize.
It is not
You
an
can't say that
individual
every interfaith marriage is based on the assumption
No.
that there is
I'm
love
not
jihad
saying
going on.
that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
put
what
words
he's
in my
saying.
mouth.
That's what you are saying, Mr. Pandit.
All I'm saying is, this is not the first time I'm sharing space with Mr. Sanjay Jha, and I've seen him intervene in such discussions very often in the past. He has never accepted the fact that there is something called love jihad happening in this country. Show me one evidence.
Rahul,
He has always denied it.
This man is
So
extremely
I'm saying I am discussing this issue with
No,
naysayers.
1 second, Sushil Pandit.
You ab initio deny the fact that
Sushil Pandit, 1 second. Let's just 1 second. Let me 1 second. Let's all just take a
This man is an
deep breath. 1
infected
second.
chronic liar.
Okay, 1 second. Let me bring in Ishkaran Bhandari. Ishkaran Bhandari, is there evidence? Now, you're a man of the law. You referred to certain cases. Where is the evidence that there is something called love jihad and it is practiced widely, etc., etc.? Let's
finish my point, Rahul.
I
need to finish my point.
No, because
I will tell the evidence.
the point that we want to get to
I will
is
tell
the
the
proof.
evidence.
We can keep talking about it, these two words, but it would be irresponsible if we are not able to establish that there is something
Yes.
called,
Yes.
a marriage undertaken.
The courts have
Rahul, in this
Okay,
case,
let's
just gave you evidence. How many cases, how many charge sheets?
Okay, let's hear
Love
from
jihad
Ishkaran
has been
Bhandari.
established as a fact.
Okay, has it been established, Ishkaran Bhandari, as a fact?
Yes.
Fundamental question.
Rahul, this case, let the police charge sheet come, but the ordinary rule of public discussion is that complainant, whatever they say, is taken very seriously and it is discussed. That is the ordinary rule all over the world. But let us come to this case. Where is the judgments now? First part is the Kerala High Court on Wednesday found indications of forcible religious conversion under the garb of love in the state, asked government to consider enacting a law to prohibit such deceptive acts. Justice, I don't want to take the name, of the Kerala High Court made this observation while dismissing anticipatory bail petitions. He made the observation based on case diary by the police. So that is Kerala, nothing to do with BJP. I want to answer Mr. Khan here because he said BJP ka agenda hai, communal hai. I really wish BJP did 1/10. No, BJP did 1/50th of those things. It is accused. Don't interrupt me, please. Let me finish. Rahul, not this way. He will have his turn. Rahul, he will have his turn.
You can respond right
Let me
after.
finish.
Let him.
Rahul,
Let him finish. Then you can respond, Mr. Khan, please. 30 seconds. Yes.
I wish BJP did. I wish. Okay, Rahul, I wish BJP did 1/10. Even 1/50th of what it is accused by the secular forces. Where is the proof? Kerala High Court. Where is the proof? A conviction by a court in Uttar Pradesh. 72 charge sheet where polices have completed investigation. Incidentally, before they accused the police, in 11 cases, the police said we have found no evidence. So in 11 cases they say no, it's not a case of love jihad. In 72 they said. So these are the evidences.
This is the evidence, Rashid Khan. This is what he's saying.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
May I continue, Rahul?
Yeah, 30 seconds,
With
sir.
what I was trying to say.
One quick response from Rashid
This
Khan.
is
I'll
so
come back
sad
to
that...
Mr. Pandey. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, this is so sad that this gentleman is talking about love jihad in this case. Do you think that this animal after knows anything about his religion? He's a psychopath. We know it very well. He has chopped that girl's body into pieces. How can a man of this mental state think of any religion or love jihad and things like this? This gentleman is framing this crime and giving it as a communal angle. We are not ready to accept this type of sentences, words used by this gentleman. So I just kindly request this gentleman to take back his words. Let's not polarize this situation.
Mr. Bhandari,
let's
quick
think about
response. You're polarizing. Take back your words.
For God's sake, don't polarize.
Rashid Khan.
A girl has died. A girl has been
If this
brutally
animal,
killed
he
by
said,
an
quote
animal,
unquote, knew
psychopath.
his own religion, he would not have done any of this.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I have just 2 points to make.
Yeah.
First, I don't know what he has heard.
Yes.
I have said let us wait for the police version charge sheet to come in this case, but whatever the complainant's father says has to be a part of discussion. First part. Second part, which is very important, does this man know, this criminal, this monster know anything about his religion? I ask you, Mr. Khan, people who say गुस्ताखी करने की एक ही सजा हो चुकी है सर तन से जुदा, do they know their religion or do you condemn them?
That's a different thing. Let's not
answer. Do they know their religion?
Do
they know their religion?
In this crime,
you raise the question. What is religion?
This is absolutely
do those
wrong.
People know?
You are.
Do those people who say?
Okay. 1 second. Let's. I think viewers. 1 second. I think 1 second. Reaction is coming in. The 1 second. Union Minister for Women and Child Development has responded. Let's take Smriti Irani's reaction. I believe that she has spoken. Let's hear.
घटना दिल्ली में घटी, उसको लेकर अब सारे लोग शांत बैठे हुए हैं, उसको लेकर
मैं देखिए इतनी अमानवीय बातें नहीं करूंगी कि एक घटना का दूसरी घटना से कहीं कंपैरिजन करूं। हर जीवन का अपना एक मोल होता है, हर जीवन के प्रति एक सम्मान होना चाहिए। मैं बस इतना ही कहना चाहूंगी कि राष्ट्र में हर बेटी सुरक्षित रहे, राष्ट्र में हर बेटी समृद्धि के पथ पर चले, और अगर कोई ऐसी चुनौती आती है जो इस केस में आई तो न्यायपूर्णता होना चाहिए।
न्याय होगा, आपको लगता है? बिल्कुल न्याय होना चाहिए।
निश्चित रूप से न्यायपालिका अगर एविडेंस के आधार पर न्याय करेगी तो निश्चित रूप से होगा।
Well, viewers, Smriti Irani taking a very balanced view of this particular crime, coming out and saying that look, on the face of it, it is obviously a diabolical crime and no Indian woman should suffer such a fate, and if she does, then justice must be done. And in this case, she is calling upon the police to do its duty and provide justice to Shraddha, and I think that is perhaps the best way forward right now. She hasn't communalized this issue, unlike some of her colleagues. Viewers, whether they are in denial, whether they are wanting to explore the possibility, all of that is immaterial right now. What we know is there is an investigation on, and that investigation hasn't, as of this moment, viewers, I can't say for tomorrow and day after and the day after that, hasn't in any way corroborated that there is a communal dimension. However, if people want to talk about another dimension to this crime, of course, in a democracy, you're more than welcome to do so. On this panel, we've had an exchange. None of us here at times now underwriting that there is a communal dimension to this particular crime. The only thing that we can establish here is that this was an interfaith alliance, a relationship, and it has gone sour, which is pretty palpable. We want to move on, viewers, because it has been a day of hectic diplomacy where one can't help saying, viewers, that India seems to be, at some level or the other, being feted internationally. Now, doomsdayers will tell you how bleak India's all-round prospects are. They'll tell you that once again India has lost the opportunity to lead the world morally, economically, and socially, to shape the conversation and the narrative because of the troubles within, because of the mismanagement that we have seen. This is what a large number of doomsdayers will tell you. But sometimes all it takes, viewers, is a series of pictures to put things in the right perspective. Indeed, with world leaders lining up, and I just want to show you some of those pictures, lining up to meet and greet India's Prime Minister during the G20 summit in Indonesia's capital Bali. Indonesia's not capital so much as Indonesia's resort holiday city of Bali. Its cultural capital, if you may. It's difficult not to believe that India is seen as a shining beacon of hope on the global stage. Now, viewers, as is to be expected, these pictures have sparked a massive debate. The BJP leapt to very quickly capitalize on them, saying that world leaders never sought out, for example, Dr. Manmohan Singh when he was the Prime Minister of the country. And in his address, for example, the BJP points out that the Prime Minister also asserted that India of today thinks very big and is therefore working towards an horizon. They say that big world leaders of some of the most advanced countries have all come out and have all, in fact, praised Mr. Modi's leadership and his reformation, really, of India's image on the global scene. Now, viewers, of course, the Congress and other opposition parties have taken a swipe at the BJP for politicizing diplomacy, saying that former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh himself, for example, was feted on the global stage. So you have a big conversation going on. Listen to what the opposition leaders have been saying to the BJP's projection of these visuals, these pictures, and all the adulation that the Prime Minister received.
Well, every statement that comes from the BJP's media head is not to be taken seriously at all. As far as the Prime Minister is concerned, well, he's the Prime Minister of India. You've taken, you're heading the G20 at the moment. Respect given to the Prime Minister is respect given to India.
I don't know who is Amit Malviya, but I know Mr. Nitin Gadkari, who was once the chief of BJP. He was president of BJP. And you can just remember what Nitin Gadkari said, that the country should be grateful for the reforms done by Manmohan Singh for what he has done. I think it is Amit Malviya's this statement is rubbish.
People who believe in God, they touch the feet of the God, and Modi is God now. He is not the devil as to the Indian people, but he is God to many people. Maybe because of God they are touching his feet.
हर सरकारों में G20 का सवाल हो, शिखर सम्मेलन का सवाल हो, देश के प्रधानमंत्री अन्य देशों के प्रधानमंत्री से बातचीत करते रहते हैं। किसके पहले देश के प्रधानमंत्री अन्य प्रधानमंत्री से नहीं मिले हैं क्या? मनमोहन सिंह से तो कई बार कई राष्ट्रों के प्रधानमंत्री राष्ट्राध्यक्षों से लगातार कान में बात करते हुए लोगों ने देखा है।
देखिए, ये चाटुकारिता की पराकाष्ठा है। दरअसल हिंदुस्तान ने जो पिछले 7 दशकों में एक वैश्विक आर्थिक शक्ति की वजह से जो प्रतिष्ठा हासिल की है, आज भारत को उसका सम्मान मिल रहा है।
Let's open this up. We have with us Maharoof Raza, Group Consulting Editor of the Times Network. As I've always described him, as one of the finest strategist analysts, geopolitical commentators around. There is also, of course, the BJP's Guru Prakash, national spokesperson, the BJP. Aarti Tikku, who's a senior journalist who is actually there in Bali. She's got a ringside view of what's been happening. Sanjay Jha of the Congress is here with us. Mr. Guru Prakash, The opposition says that this is really the height of sycophancy. There is a cult that is sort of being built around the Prime Minister. And how do you respond to this? That this Modi diplomacy in Bali is not because of him so much as the collective energy of India that has put India up there.
Rahul, there is no denial that there is collective energy of India, but who is representing that collective energy of India? The people of India, and the people of India is being represented at this international forum by the Honorable Prime Minister. What I fail to understand is this poverty of imagination of the Congress party, this impoverishment of any ideas, because in the last 8 years you see, India in the global setting is now setting the example in terms of new world order. You take the example of International Yoga Day, more than 150 nations becoming second proposer of Yoga Day, and it's such a record time it was accepted globally. Was it also sycophancy? Brazilian head of state, the American president, Chinese head of state, the Australian head of state, everyone have sort of welcomed the remarkable initiative which India shown during the COVID crisis. Be it we have supplied vaccines to more than 100 nations, the mask, the sanitizers, and everywhere you see at the global stage we are setting a new phenomena. Even during the Russia-Ukraine crisis we saw the evacuation at so many countries, at so many crisis stages had happened at such a smooth pace. So we have to acknowledge at least the true leadership skill of the Honorable Prime Minister. He has said that India now in the 21st century is going to play a decisive role in the new world order, which is going to be a rule-based order.
Okay, Sanjay, very quickly, a quick response to Mr. Guru Prakash. He's saying that, look, the Prime Minister has shaped the outlook of this nation. Yes, he has obviously benefited from the collective energy, and who can deny it, but the fact is that the ingredients to unleash the engines of growth, etc., have been provided, the direction has been provided by this government. Why are you grudging him his moment?
Rahul, let me tell you, this is a very churlish and very infantile conversation. I mean, the BJP should know government's foreign policy, diplomacy is made through successive government. And every Prime Minister, including Mr. Vajpayee, and I have been critical of Mr. Vajpayee, they all had a very crucial role to play in terms of India's standing in the international, arena. The truth is, I mean, you remember what Mr. Barack Obama, the US President, said about Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. He said when he spoke, we all just listened to him. George Bush, as a US President, pushed the boundaries to get India into the whole nuclear deal. So, I don't want to get into this very petty conversation with the BJP.
The Congress party took credit for the encomiums that were heaped on then Dr. Manmohan Singh, but you didn't, of course, support him when he wanted to go through with the nuclear deal. I mean, let's not forget
Rahul,
that.
let me just tell you. Rahul, let me just make one short point, and then I would love to hear Aarti and Atu. That the truth is, if you look at any democracy, when there is an election time, I can understand a contest. But even the Republicans and the Democrats, highly polarized in the US, they're not rubbishing Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton or what have you.
No, but
in the same, the Conservatives and Labour fight.
No, hang on.
They're not destroying each other's legacy.
No, but neither is there the lack of informed criticism about people and their contribution. So we can't put everyone on a pedestal and never question, because if you never examine someone's record, if you don't learn from their mistakes, we're bound to repeat them, and you know that how critical it is to assess sometimes in the right context and sometimes in changed contexts with the benefit of new research.
Well, Mr. Prakash should know where we stand today in what the world opinion is in terms of India's authoritarian culture and the way we are destroying our democratic.
If it was so authoritarian, why is the world... Anyway, let me bring in Aarti Tikku, she was there. Aarti Tikku, did you get a sense that Modi's India had become a pariah on the international stage, a pariah country that everyone was sort of looking at with some amount of derision?
Rahul, it's quite unfortunate that on critical issues, especially diplomacy, there is politics happening in India at the moment. I wish that the opposition and the ruling party kept diplomacy, kept geopolitics out of their local, provincial politics. what I got at the G20 summit in Bali today was that India not only commands lot of respect, but Prime Minister Modi commands lot of respect. And I'm saying this as a very neutral, objective journalist who has been critical of the BJP, who has been critical of the Congress also. And I can tell you that the way the pictures that emerged from the G20 summit, whether it was Rishi Sunak, whether it was Xi Jinping, in fact, we have an update that Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping exchanged pleasantries on the sidelines of the dinner tonight. And that itself, shows that everybody, the toughest and the strongest and the most powerful leader, for example, like Xi Jinping, Joe Biden, and Emmanuel Macron, they all want to share dice with Prime Minister Modi. They all want to be friends with Prime Minister Modi. And also, I think what is really, what is at the back of this respect and the cooperation that they are seeking from Prime Minister Modi are the accomplishments of the government of India in the last 1 decade. In fact, I got a glimpse of Prime Minister Modi, what Prime Minister Modi may have said at the G20 summit at the community center, which was an event organized by the Indian diaspora in Bali, where Prime Minister Modi actually talked about the speed and the scale at which India has transformed in the last 1 decade.
Let's get in Maruf Raza on this point. Why is India being seen as a ray of hope globally today as we speak, coming out of a pandemic that actually froze and paralyzed, the entire globe?
Rahul, all your guests have made very important points, and I'm not in the business of trying to build up one leader against the other. You see, we must look at it all very objectively. India wouldn't have reached so far if all our leaders in the past hadn't made contributions substantially. India didn't begin galloping in 2014. India has been coming steadily along. So we are now at that stage in history when the world is looking at India to provide several options. For instance, India seems to be the bridge between the north, the global north, the rich countries, and we are now in the top 5 wealthy countries in a way, if you look at it statistically. So the rich countries look at India as a bridge to the global south. And there Mr. Modi comes in as a ray of hope, because now the world is staring at a possible recession. And they need to take steps. The G20 is about economics. The G20 is not about preventing war per se. The second thing I think Mr. Modi has done very well, which other leaders, I believe in recent past, weren't able to exploit to the extent. India provides every leader a certain demographic dividend. And Mr. Modi has been able to use that. For example, wherever he goes, as a show of strength, he addresses the Indian diaspora. Now, when you do that, it's strong messaging to all the leaders. I remember somebody who was familiar with American politics told me that Mr. Trump couldn't muster up 5,000 to 10,000 people for any of his big election rallies. And look what Mr. Trump got in Ahmedabad when he landed up. So the fact is, India and Indians can provide numbers, and it's a shot in the arm and messaging to your host country that, India is there and nobody is there quite like India. The third thing, I think, which Mr. Modi has done very well, is built up chemistry with all world leaders. So you see Mr. Biden holding on to his hand and tapping his back. You see Macron wanting to engage with him. Fine, nothing is going to come out of the Xi Jinping meeting because Xi Jinping's got his own issues, we've got our own issues. But then everyone is being able to talk to us. I mean, there is this talk about, can India be one of the possible mediators in the Ukraine conflict, not the mediator, because we have an allergic reaction to mediation because of history. So, there are issues like that. And then, you have to grant him and his government that they do come out with out-of-the-box initiatives. For example, this is the year that we are going to be heading 2 important global organizations. Heads of state come to them. Xi Jinping will come to both. You know, Putin will come to both. He hasn't come to this, but Russia is represented there. But SCO and G20. And these matter. And this year, if we can exploit that opportunity, it is India's year for the asking.
Well, there we go.
There are things that are going our way.
We are running out of time. Leadership matters. The quality of leadership matters. Viewers, we are at an inflection point, as Maruf Raza says, and the choices we make, the choices our leaders make, will of course define where we'll end up, whether we will actually have that tryst with destiny. And as of today, the world seems to have faith in the incumbent Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Well, viewers, I leave it to you now to think this through. The news are coming up. Don't go away. On the show tonight, viewers.
Left marched against Kerala Governor in Thiruvananthapuram after he stalled 2 bills and sought resignations of 9 VCs of Kerala varsities. CPM claims around 1 lakh people marched near Raj Bhavan. 2 doctors have been suspended after teenage footballer Priya's death in Chennai due to an alleged botched surgery. A 3-member inquiry commission has been formed to look into the matter. After a 55-year-old Bengaluru man was crushed by a tractor, angry residents staged a stir against civic apathy. Kong also slammed the Bombay government, said they don't care for the lives of innocent people. 14 people have been arrested in a week in UP's Fatehpur for induced conversions and 10 held in MP's Damoh for allegedly converting minors to Christianity. Supreme Court hears whether greater curbs can be imposed on Neta's public speech, observes unwritten rule and constitutional culture suggest people in public service should not indulge in loose talk.
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमा मालिनी
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए जी राधे राधे। कल राखी सावंत का फिल्म देंगे। He will also become. सांसद बनना चाहेंगे उसको तो आप बनने नहीं देंगे। आप दिमाग में सबको ऐसा डाल के रखेंगे फिल्म स्टार ही बनेगा। आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमा मालिनी
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए जी राधे राधे। कल राखी सावंत का फिल्म देंगे। He will also become. बहुत अच्छी बात है।
आपका क्या विचार है इस बार? आप
मेरा विचार क्या मैं बताऊं? मेरा विचार भगवान के ऊपर है। लॉर्ड कृष्णा विल डू इट।
मैं तो देश की सेवा के लिए ही पैदा हुई हूँ और मैं देश की सेवा करना चाहती हूँ और क्यों नहीं हमारे मोदी साहब हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी चाय बनाते बनाते प्रधानमंत्री जी पीएम बन सकते हैं तो मैं बॉलीवुड में काम करते करते सीएम क्यों नहीं बन सकती हूँ? डेफिनेटली मैं बनूंगी। आप सबका आशीर्वाद चाहिए। तो 2024 में अब आप मुझे चुनाव लड़ते हुए देखेंगे किसके अपोजिट, ये सरप्राइज है।
I'm Madhadas Gopalakrishnan. The top focus story is a story that has shocked India.
Now, what would you make of a man who stores ice cream and cold drinks along with dead body parts in a fridge? The butchery of Shraddha by her alleged lover Aftab has stunned not only the national capital but the whole of India. The chilling details of the Ghoulish act are still unraveling. There's a trail of grisly details that will make your blood curdle. Inside track of the probe details how Aftab not only chopped Shraddha's body with a 1.5-foot cleaver, he minced her internal organs and disposed of it first. He dumped the severed head and other body parts towards the end of this 18-day criminal plan to dispose the body. He didn't stop at this. He also had another girl in the same apartment when Shraddha's body was stuffed inside this fridge. A bereaved father of Shraddha has hinted at a religious motive behind the murder. He details in the FIR that the relationship was unacceptable to them because Aftab was from a different religion. Listen in to what he said to Times Now.
कब बात हुई थी आप लोग की लास्ट, और इस आफ्ताब पे शक कब हुआ आप लोग को?
हम लोग को शक तो मतलब उनके श्रद्धा के दोस्त है, उन्होंने इन्फॉर्म किया कि श्रद्धा कुछ मीटिंग का मुझे लग रहा था जी, ये उन्होंने बताया कुछ अगस्त में जी। हाँ, तब हम लोग फिर कंप्लेंट करने गए थे वैसे पुलिस, हमारे लोकल पुलिस ने इसको बताया,
मतलब फैमिली को बताया था कि मदर को बताया था कि मार्किंग कर रहा था आफ्ताब मेरे साथ और इस टाइप की चीजें।
मार्च
तो पिटाई मतलब
हाँ, वो माँ से वो लड़की ने मेरे बताया कि वो हम लोग शायद सेपरेट रहेंगे, ये मुझे मारता है तो हम लोग शायद ब्रेकअप करने वाले हैं, ऐसा कुछ मुझे उसके माँ ने बताया कि ये जून में आई थी मेरे पास। एक्चुअली जब ये उसने डिक्लेयर किया कि श्रद्धा इज नो मोर, तब मैं इतना कंडीशन में नहीं था सुनने के। तभी जब भी बॉम्बे में वो जॉब करने लगी तभी उसकी मुलाकात ये आफ्ताब से हुई, उसी से कंपनी में वो भी काम कर रहा था जी।
तो रिलीजन के कारण या उसके कंडक्ट के कारण कुछ आप लोगों को लगा लड़का खराब है, क्यों नहीं किया? रिलीजन वाज एन इशू और
नहीं, फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन तो वही था मेरा कि रिलीजन तो हम लोग इतना वो ये नहीं करते हो। मैं और मेरी वाइफ गई थी और मेरे सिस्टर भी गई थी, तो उसने हम लोग से उल्टा सवाल करने चालू किया।
Such was the toxicity in the relationship that Shraddha feared for her life. Her friends claimed that she was scared of Aftab and often confided in them that one day she might be murdered at the hands of Aftab. Listen in.
वो 2018 के बाद से ही उसके मान लीजिए कि व्यक्तित्व में परिवर्तन आने दिखने लगा था हम लोगों को। तो उसके पीछे का कारण कहीं ना कहीं शायद आफ्ताब का आना था। 2019 में खैर हमको पता चला है कि आफ्ताब के साथ रिलेशनशिप में है। श्रद्धा ने मैसेज किया था अपने बचपन के दोस्त को, लक्ष्मण को, कि वो आफ्ताब से बहुत बुरी तरीके से डरने लगी है। उसको ऐसा लगता है कि आफ्ताब शायद उसकी जान भी ले सकता है। मतलब वो एक रात थी जब मैसेज किया था कि प्लीज़ मुझे यहाँ से रेस्क्यू करो, नहीं तो फिर हो सकता है कि आज रात मेरी आखिरी रात हो, क्योंकि वो डैड के साथ ऑलरेडी कनेक्टेड नहीं थी, मॉम के साथ अब मॉम अब रही नहीं इस दुनिया में। तो मेरे ख्याल से वो एक सिचुएशन आ गया था जो वाकई में वल्नरेबल हो चुकी थी वो, और इस वल्नरेबिलिटी का कहीं ना कहीं फ़ायदा उठाया होगा शायद मेरे ख्याल से आफ्ताब ने, क्योंकि आफ्ताब एट दी एंड अब वो लवर नहीं बल्कि क्रिमिनल बन के जो दिख के आ रहा है दुनिया को। तो ये समझ में आता है कि उसका जो रियल मोटिव था वो लव ने था ही नहीं।
So that is when it became a point of concern for me कि I should actually start reaching out to people, and आज कोई मुझे अपडेट नहीं मिला तो फाइनली मैंने उनके ब्रदर को बता दिया, कांटेक्ट नहीं हो पा रहा है, सो इट्स बेटर दैट वी रीच आउट टू कॉप्स एंड चेक सीक फॉर देयर हेल्प करके बोला कि प्लीज यहाँ मेरे घर पे आ जा, मुझे बाहर लेके जा, अगर आज रात को मैं इसके साथ घर पे रही तो ये मुझे मार डालेगा। ऐसा भी झगड़ा हुआ है उनके बीच में, और हम दोस्तों ने मिलके उसको उसके घर से उस दिन बाहर भी निकाला था और आफ्ताब को वार्निंग भी दी थी। Alright, and the political cloud that has engulfed the butchery, with BJP alleging a larger conspiracy behind the murder. From Delhi to Mumbai, there are protests alleging a religious motive behind the Mehroli murder. Listen in.
ये एक षड्यंत्र है भारत में गैर मुस्लिम लड़कियों को, हिंदू की लड़कियों को अपने फांस में जब लाना, चाहे प्यार मोहब्बत, चाहे वेशभूषा बदल करके, और फिर अगर धर्म नहीं स्वीकारा तो उसकी यही हालत होती है। न राहुल गांधी बोलेंगे और न जिन्ना के रास्ते पर चलने वाले ओवैसी बोलेंगे।
ये भी दिखाता है कि ये क्रिमिनल माइंडेड इंसान जो है वो हो सकता है कि दूसरे भी महिला के साथ कुछ हो सकता था, पर मैं तो ये कहूंगी कि ऐसे केसेस जो है फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट पे चलाना चाहिए और तुरंत ऐसे लोगों को समाज में से प्रिजन के अंदर होना चाहिए और ऐसे लोगों को फांसी की सजा मिलनी चाहिए ताकि कोई और दोबारा ऐसे कोई क्राइम करने के बारे में सोचे भी नहीं।
इसे मर्डर केस करके इस मामले को देख करके नहीं चलेगा, क्योंकि जिस प्रकार के पुरजोर तरीके से सबूत सामने आ रहे हैं, वे सबूत अपने आप में सुनिश्चित करते हैं कि इसमें दिल्ली पुलिस के द्वारा लव जिहाद का क्या एंगल है। इसकी भी जांच दिल्ली पुलिस के द्वारा हो, यह आवश्यक है। इसलिए दिल्ली पुलिस से हम मांग करते हैं कि इसके पीछे कोई एक व्यक्ति नहीं हो सकता, इसके पीछे कौन सा ग्रुप है, कौन सी गैंग है।
Taking a look at the ecosystem, Union Minister for Women and Child Development has said that she won't indulge in politics but will ensure speedy justice to Shraddha. Listen in.
दिल्ली में घटी, उसको लेकर अब सारे लोग शांत बैठे हुए हैं, उसको लेकर
मैं देखिए इतनी अमानवीय बातें नहीं करूंगी कि एक घटना का दूसरी घटना से कहीं कंपैरिजन करूं। हर जीवन का अपना एक मोल होता है, हर जीवन के प्रति एक सम्मान होना चाहिए। मैं बस इतना ही कहना चाहूंगी कि राष्ट्र में हर बेटी सुरक्षित रहे, राष्ट्र में हर बेटी समृद्धि के पथ पर चले, और अगर कोई ऐसी चुनौती आती है जो इस केस में आई तो न्यायपूर्णता होना चाहिए।
न्याय होगा, आपको लगता है? बिल्कुल न्याय होना चाहिए।
निश्चित रूप से न्यायपालिका अगर एविडेंस के आधार पर न्याय करेगी तो निश्चित रूप से होगा।
This brings me to the legitimate question we're asking this evening. Was it a murder that was planned and not spontaneous? Alright, and we have some breaking details coming in. This is the latest as far as Aftab's confession to the police is concerned. These are what the top Delhi police sources are telling Times Now, that he was planning to kill her a week before the murder but somehow held himself back. Aftab was also detailed how he tried to create a smoke screen. He created an illusion that Shraddha is still alive and kept her social media accounts working. Aftab has also given a crime of passion defense, saying that they fought often as I spoke to somebody else. Three very important aspects of this investigation coming in, Priyank. Who is this someone else that Aftab was talking to? And if there was indeed a murderous thought that he was nurturing a week earlier, does the crime of passion argument still hold?
See, Madhav, he has been making stories since the time he has been arrested. In fact, a few months before he was arrested by the Delhi police, when Maharashtra police questioned him regarding missing Shraddha, he managed to befool them and he told them that he is not aware that where exactly she is. Later to that, the case was transferred to Delhi police, and soon after he was arrested, he confessed the crime. But the fact of the matter is that he was also getting in touch with the other women through various, dating apps on social media platform. But what we have, what is most worrying in this case right now is that the Delhi police has also come to a roadblock ahead, because today, after the searches which was carried out, they could not find any of the further remains of the body apart from the 12 pieces of the bones which were suspected to be Shraddha's bone, which were found 72 hours back. These samples will be sent for forensic examination, following to which the joint CP rank officer from the range is also present at the police station. She is taking care of the case from now further, and there is a high-level meeting which is happening where all those senior officials from this range of South Delhi, of the southern range, are taking their participation so that logical conclusion can be given to the investigation which is being carried out, and all those evidences which are forensic, which can substantiate the claim of the police, can be done, because the Delhi police already had a big setback 2 weeks back when in the Negi rape and murder case, the Supreme Court has given acquittal, so they don't want to face same kind of fate in this case.
All right, we will have to see if the prosecution is able to build a watertight case. Of course, a lot of evidence that's already there, but the work of the investigators is certainly not very easy. There's a lot that they will have to further prove, including actually getting the weapon with which this gruesome act was carried out. Priyank, thanks so much for getting us the latest as far as the probe is concerned. Let's quickly, in fact, go across to our guests in just a moment now.
You're watching the NewsHour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
To discuss the legal aspects, I want to quickly go across to our three guests. Joining us, Siddharth Luthra is a senior advocate. Nirmal Kaur is former DGP of Jharkhand. Naveen Chomal, lawyer, is with us. Let me start with you, Mr. Luthra. You've just heard probably what our reporter has been bringing out. Now, in terms of the actual probe, two very significant things. That A, they were having fights because he was speaking to someone else. Who's that someone else? We don't know. We don't know even if at this stage that is some kind of an alibi that is being given by the accused Aftab. But he has also said that he had certain murderous thoughts a week before. So where does that leave the entire crime of passion argument, and what is the insight that it gives us into the mind of this diabolical killer?
So I think, and I must say this, he's an accused right now. To call him a killer would be absolutely unfair. Secondly, we must also understand that what seems to be bandied about is a confession of the gentleman. A police confession is of very little value unless it leads to a recovery. What is relevant is, and what appears to have been found is, certain body parts which have to be matched to her forensically through DNA testing. The weapon will have to be located, and we will have to locate collateral evidence, whether CCTV or others, and also establish the falsity, if any, of his defense, whether before Bombay police or here, and then we will come to the crime of passion argument.
Right, very, very important point there, that perhaps all of this,
because it's a crime of passion.
Right.
One more thing. Let me just add one thing.
Okay, make your point.
Merely because it's a crime of passion doesn't mean it's not murder. And the disposal of the body, if proved, is a separate offense, that destruction of evidence, which has a separate punishment.
Right, very, very important. Let me, in fact, bring in Nirmal Kaur, former DGP Jharkhand. Nirmal Kaur, how do you see this? Because, there's been a lot of speculation whether this was a pre-planned murder, whether this was a murder that took place in the heat of the moment during the course of an argument. On the basis of what's been coming out, how are you looking at what the possibility is? Of course, what will happen in a trial and how difficult the job of the prosecutors will be, of course, is there before us. But certainly the fact that, for instance, some of the weapons like an axe that was used, or a saw rather, has not been found. All of these are going to be very important to prove the unbroken chain of events which is required in a case of murder, isn't it?
I think it's very obvious that it's a very premeditated, cold-blooded murder. And the way, he calculated, and the way in a very scientific, in a very thorough manner, he carried out disposal of the body, how he neatly cut it up, and how he, dispose it off bit by bit, and also mincing the meat in between so that nothing is found. It is very clear that it's a very very, very premeditated, very cold-blooded crime. So passion doesn't enter anywhere here. Where is love? It's all jihad, as they are saying. I mean, if there was any love, can he do this to a girl? That girl defied everyone to come out with him. Her parents, the society, the normal norms, the traditions. And what did he do to her? And it's very apparent, from the way the friends are talking, that it was a very abusive relationship. And abusive relationships, by their very, they are very addictive. Somehow you live in them, they're addictive. Some psychologists can explain it better, but the abusive relationships are addictive. And, to call it a crime of passion is, it's an insult, adding insult to an injury. Right. There's no passion here.
All right.
Absolutely.
Naveen Chomal, where is this crime of passion argument coming from? Is there some kind of legal implication it has as far as the case is concerned? Is that perhaps a convenient argument for the accused to make our viewers understand this case better?
Sir, in these cases like circumstantial evidences, based on circumstantial evidences, as Luthra ji has very rightly said, that what will ultimately matter will be the discovery of the evidence. For example, the body parts, the more they are discovered, then the weapon, the saw that was used, that will be there. But apart from that, in the circumstantial evidences matter, Supreme Court have also laid down the concept of custodial death. So that lady, the girl, was in custody of Aftab. So he is bound to explain where she disappeared. And she was last seen together. And ultimately from the DNA test, if her body is discovered or it can be safely presumed to be dead, then he will be answerable for the circumstances last seen together. She was in his house last seen together. So this factor will definitely go against Aftab.
Right.
And whatever defense he may take of passion, that has got no value.
Right.
If it will amount to admission of the crime, at least the factor of the crime will be an admission for him.
Right. Also, one interesting aspect, as you rightly said earlier, Siddharth Luthra, this is as far as the confession itself is concerned, perhaps does not have much evidentiary value. But if the police does find that this was an individual who was, for instance, covering up his tracks by keeping social media account of the victim alive, keeping various accounts alive, we are told, financially speaking, to try and divert attention, will that have its own implication as far as the case is concerned, if there is evidence to the same?
Yeah, so the point is this, that's just one part of deluding or seeking to create a subterfuge so the police don't arrive at the conclusion, and that's going to be part of the circumstances which can be read against him. But one thing I want you to understand, and for your viewers, it is more important today that we live in an electronic world. There is, our mobiles are clear indications to where we are. Our CCTV footage is there. There will be enough evidence, as my colleague Naveen just said, of them being last seen together and then her not being known thereafter. They added to that, as you said, the keeping the account alive. All of these will be factors which will be seen cumulatively to have a chain of circumstances, and that chain, if complete, will and should, as per law, lead to a judgment of conviction, and the sentence, because of the brutality in which the body is being done away with, is likely to lead to a death sentence.
All right. So certainly, of course,
but all of this is, as I said, premature and based on what I'm hearing from you.
Well, yes, and of course, it is up to the courts, it is up to the prosecutors, because we've seen what has happened in another case just a few weeks ago, which was before the Supreme Court, and that was in the Chawla case. We certainly hope that the prosecutors do a very thorough job as far as this particular aspect is concerned. So several legal points to be mentioned over here, and several aspects that the prosecutors will have to in fact work on as far as this entire case is concerned. Siddharth Luthra, I'd like to thank you for joining us, as well as in fact Nirmal Kaur and Naveen Chowal. We have some breaking news coming in at the moment. We're going to cut across live to that. In fact, the Delhi police is going to change the probe attack. This is the information that we have coming in at the moment as far as the Delhi police is concerned. Just going to bring you some more details as far as this aspect is concerned. All right. In fact, get us some details. Priyank, I believe there are high-level meetings that are to be carried on. Take us through what exactly is the possible strategy as far as the police is concerned.
The high-level meeting is going on where the Joint CP rank officer of the range is taking participation with this particular meeting, because earlier to that there was an additional DCP rank officer who was dealing with the probe. But since today there was no remains of the body which was found, and later to that the suspect is also changing his strategy and statement. That's why senior officials are meeting right now at the Mehdali police station, and they are trying to sort out the other issues which are very troublesome for them, because at the end of the day they have to come to a conclusion. They want the case to be very watertight, and they don't want to take any kind of chances in this.
All right. Thanks so much, Priyank, for bringing us that update as well. Certainly, of course, the legal aspect is very significant. What will happen as far as this case is concerned is going to be watched out for very closely. But let's quickly turn back to the political aspect of this. There has been a massive political fight raging with the BJP, the Congress and various political parties trading, in fact, blows as far as the love jihad aspect is concerned. Let's go straight across to our political guests, and I thank our panelists for their patience. Sujata Pandey, political analyst, Mithun Vijay Kumar, political analyst, Dr. Anand Ragnathan, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, and Advocate Tala Rashidi of the Rashtriya Ulema Council. Let me start first and foremost with our panelist Sujata Pandey. Sujata Pandey, the opposition says that these demands for love jihad are a clear case of communalizing an issue where there is no communal angle to be read. It's a pure case of a crime. How do you respond to that charge?
Okay, Madhav, just give me 1 minute and I'll read few names, and I would, at the end of it, I would like you to decide that whether there's a angle of love jihad or no. Now that even the father has asked for an investigation from that angle. Nikita Tomar at the age of 21 was killed by Tausif Ahmed. Tanishka Sharma at the age of 20 was killed by Sahil. Neetu 17 was killed by Lai Khan. Nana Kaur at 19 was killed by Sail Khan. Priya Soni 21 was killed by Raj Ahmed. Dina Mishra at 32 was killed by Imran. Khushi Parihar at the age of 19 was killed by Ashraf, and now Shraddha at the age of 26 was killed by Abdul Aftab. Now, there is a clear-cut pattern to it. I do not understand that why are we just saying that no, there is no angle of love jihad. Are we the investigating agencies? Are we the police, or are we some CID or something that we know Aftab so closely and so personal that we can be so sure that there is no love jihad angle? Let it be an open case. Let it be say what if. Let it be investigated from all the angles. I think a crime needs to be investigated from all the angles. All this one section of the people are saying that there has been a pattern.
Sujata Pandey, the question that many are asking is that where is the evidence that he was trying to convert her? The allegation is that she wanted to marry him and he was not agreeing. So does that add up really to the typical and conventional understanding of what love jihad is?
No, what
or allegedly is
conventional understanding of love jihad. It is about the killing of a Hindu girl by a Muslim man. And how do we know what has happened? How can you believe even the version of this Aftab? Because he looks like a psychotic, killer who's been making stories, and something is not adding up, Madhav. One day he goes to the police and he confesses the entire trail of the events.
Okay.
With the way he's planned it, how are you so sure that he's alone plotted this entire thing? How
Advocate Talha Rashidi.
Advocate
Talha Rashidi. Okay, you made your point. Sujata Pandey says that there's a series of incidents that have taken place in which there have been instances of Hindu girls being killed or attacked by people of a certain faith, and she says she believes that this is in that same series of events that has taken place. No evidence to prove that this is love jihad, but she says this is, according to her definition, let the police investigate and find out if it is or not. Please respond to her. Advocate Talha Rashidi.
Just give me 2 minutes to respond to her.
Madam, you made your point. I've got your point. Let him respond to you also.
From Now please let me respond. If she is affected with that prejudice, the prejudice that the right-wing ecosystem is affected with, they are jumping to the conclusion and politicizing and communalizing the matter with love jihad and different other angles, and bringing in the Hindu-Muslim angle to get some mileage out of it. Now the other thing, she was talking about a series of murders. I just want to put forward a few facts from my end also. I want an answer from her and all the right-wing panelists here, that there was this girl known by the name of Gulnaz Khatun from Vaishali, Bihar. She was burnt alive by Satish Rai just because she refused to marry him. This girl, minor child Asifa from Kathua, who was gang raped in a religious place, and the right-wing people rallied in support of her accused. There is this Bilkis Banu case in front of us, wherein she was gang raped. Her 3-year-old daughter was bashed on a rock and killed, and her killers and her rapists are out on bail. Let me complete. I didn't interrupt you. Now, if I talk about the current murders, on November 1, Rohit Gupta from Delhi killed his girlfriend, although he was married. Now, November 8, Shilpa Jaria was found in a pool of blood in a hotel in Jabalpur, killed by her boyfriend Abhijit, and he's on a run, and he's posting videos on Instagram.
It's unfortunate.
बेवफाई नहीं करने का. Rajesh Gulati, a software engineer, killed his wife Anupama and cut her into 70 pieces in 2010. Now I just want to ask this panelist, what love jihad is that? Which jihad is that?
Okay.
Sushil Sharma burnt Naina Saini in tandoor. Which love jihad is that? On September 22, Devki Chakresh cut her girlfriend.
I'm going to come in here.
Chakresh was cut.
I'm going to come in here. You've given a number of examples. I want to bring in Anand Raghunathan very quickly before I go across to other panelists. Dr. Anand Raghunathan, where do you stand on this? Because it's a very heated debate. It's a debate that of course can inflame passions. I just am simply saying this, that at this point of time, until the investigators or the prosecutors tell us that yes, this was indeed a case where the facts indicate perhaps that there was some kind of love jihad, is it fair to jump to that conclusion?
Good evening, Madhav. Please give me a couple of minutes. It's a very sensitive matter, and it's been an unspeakable tragedy, and it's a tragedy that has an equal amount of horror attached to it, which makes it even doubly worse. So please give me a couple of minutes. I want to make three very quick points. Number one, can I respectfully be appalled at one of your panelists, the previous, I think the three lawyers that you got in, and severely objects to the statement that she has made. I think she was DGP of Jharkhand, saying that the victim was addicted to an abusive relationship. I think this is appalling, absolutely appalling, this kind of victim blaming that is going on. The physiological or the psychiatric term that perhaps she doesn't know is called trauma bonding. But in this case, we have absolutely no proof that this woman who was butchered like this was a victim of this trauma bonding. So without any evidence for a woman to blame the victim, saying that she was addicted, this was the word that you addicted to abusive relationship, is absolutely appalling, and I'm sure you would also condemn it like other fellow panelists would. Number two, it is not for us to judge whether there is a communal angle to this horrible crime as yet, because the investigations have just begun. Secondly, and more importantly, Madhav, and here I require a minute because it's very sensitive matter, the father who has suffered the most, the father of the dead girl. Now, I cannot even begin to imagine what he is going through, and I'm not even, I cannot be going through even a fraction of what, or understanding. My level of understanding of what has happened is not even a fraction of what his level of understanding is. Now, if he is saying that the angle of love jihad should be investigated, the police should come in and investigate. But according to my understanding, I'm just saying this, so I'm not disagreeing with the father at all. It is not for me, especially at this painful juncture, to be arguing of all people with the bereaved. But according to me, love jihad is impersonating someone else's religion for the purposes of entrapping a woman or coercing her to change her religion for the purposes of marriage or for living out a peaceful married life. Now, all these three are criminal offenses, and according to me, a love jihad. Did they happen here? I don't know. It is for the police to investigate. But certainly, according to my limited understanding, the person Aftab, who's the murderer, horrible person, he did not impersonate or did not come across as a Hindu in front of the woman to marry her or to have a live-in relationship with her. That said, finally, all those people who are now saying that it might be love jihad or might not be, have for the past years, in fact for a decade, been dismissive of this occurrence, which is love jihad, because of their motive and agenda. They refuse to listen to the Kerala High Court that said you must investigate this practice of love jihad. They refuse to listen to the church, to the Christians who are suffering this love jihad. But the moment something like this comes out, they are the first ones to deny it. So let me also tell you the fact. What matters is, does love jihad happen?
Right.
The answer is emphatically yes, and by the hundreds and with alarming regularity, Madhav.
Okay.
Swati Goel Sharma, who's a journalist, just 10 seconds, and befitting facts, have been meticulously collating all these instances. Now, I give you one example from Bihar, chilling report from Bihar just few months ago. A man named Mohammad Rahim impersonated himself as Arjun and lured a Dalit woman into a relationship with the promise of marriage. After they engaged in a physical relationship, Arjun reverted to Rahim and told her he won't marry unless she converts. Now, shouldn't, I ask you and all the panelists, shouldn't the Dalit woman get justice? It's a simple question.
Okay. Absolutely, it's a very fair question as well, but let me take that question across to Mithun Vijay Kumar, political analyst. Mithun Vijay Kumar, you have Dr. Anand Raghunathan, who himself says that he's not denying the existence of love jihad, but in this particular case, he's saying, let's wait. The father may have demanded it, but until the evidence comes up through the course of the required investigation, can we jump to that conclusion? Mithun Vijay Kumar.
See, Madhav, it is Shraddha's father who suspects a love jihad angle in this, and I think he knows better than any of us what his child has gone through. So let's not ignore his concerns of a jihadi activity in this relationship. And when plenty of cases, just like how Ranganathan sir and the previous BJP panelist quoted, the issues of love jihad in this country have been reported, and when the murderer itself has planned it in a way no normal human being can do, then how is it possible to ignore the love jihad angle in this relationship? See, none of us know the relationship dynamics of Shraddha and the killer, but there could be only one logical conclusion based on the statements of the killer and her friends. I was listening to some of the interviews of her friends. The killer says she was forced. She forced him to marry her, and that's the reason he chopped her into 35 pieces. But her friends say that she wanted to end this relationship because it was a toxic one. Now, how is it possible that she wanted to marry him, but at the same time she wanted to leave him? So it's clear that there was, she was being forced into doing something which she didn't want to, just to fulfill the, for the sake of the marriage. So I doubt there is a jihadi activity in this, and there is a jihadi angle in this. And the killer who has masterminded this act in the most unbelievable manner is cooking up stories after stories, and even he has come up with various versions. Now, even Shraddha's family has said that for the sake of her happiness, they had even approached the killer's family with a proposal of marriage, and his family, denied the proposal, and because they citing religious reasons. Now, the only condition she might have had to satisfy was to convert in order to convince him and his family, which she didn't do, and it ended up in this. And we have seen many cases like this. We have plenty of cases. We have the case of Nimisha Fatima, who was forced into,
Let me bring in Kamruzaman Chaudhary on that. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, the love jihad angle is of course the entire backdrop of today's political debate, but there's also another aspect that I want to draw the attention of our viewers to. Yesterday, when we spoke to a Congress leader, Alka Lamba, and we asked her why top leaders of the Congress are not coming out. Yesterday, Jairam Ramesh has put out a statement. She said that Priyanka Gandhi is neither the Home Minister, nor the Prime Minister, nor the Delhi Chief Minister. But the fact is, 36 hours later, top Congress leaders have not commented on this. Apart from Mr. Ramesh, I don't think many of the top leaders have even come out and strongly condemned or expressed their opinion on this. Why is that the case, Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary?
No, the basic point out here is that the way you are trying to divert this entire debate, why has the Congress party top leaders not debated or not criticized this? As a congressman, I want Aftab to be encountered like the killers and rapists of Priyanka Reddy in Hyderabad. Is the government ready to do it? If the law of the land permits, let us kill this Aftab.
This is shocking.
No, let's not go for a.
Nothing got to
no, let's not make Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, please.
No, the law of the land.
Discuss extra legal or extra constitutional. No one here is justifying any kind of extra constitutional legal. Whatever has happened, and I have been very clear about this, Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, I have questioned all to say until there is evidence of love jihad, it is irresponsible, and I think you also being irresponsible when you are suggesting this kind of an extra constitutional attempt at justice. This is not a banana republic. Our justice system, for all its faults, is something that we all have faith in as citizens. But let's not come out and make this kind of statement, Kamruzaman Chaudhary. I'm going to allow Anand Raghunathan to rebut you on that point.
Yes,
Dr. Anand Raghunathan.
I want to come in here. I always have high regard for Mr. Chaudhary, but I'm absolutely shocked and appalled by his statement that this person needs to be encountered. He is a member, a polity. He belongs to the member of law. For him to say, for him to actually condone extrajudicial steps like encountering on live television, I'm sorry, has to be condemned unequivocally, Madhav. We can't allow this to happen.
Mr. Chaudhary would like to apologize and withdraw your statement? Because I think that's what a responsible spokesperson should do.
The Madhavan, I said if the law of the land permits, the law of the land does not permit.
No, you did not say that, I'm sorry.
Then does the law of the land...
You don't know the law of the land, sir.
You did not say that.
You do not know the law of the land.
The angle that you are trying to bring out here, the Hindutva ecosystem. Hindutva ecosystem is trying to bring the angle out here.
Please apologize for demanding an encounter for...
Mr. Chaudhary.
Stereotyping a particular section of the community. Will that retired DGP who said there is a love jihad angle, will the BJP spokesperson Sujata...
Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, I am giving you a chance to withdraw your comment. I am giving you a chance to withdraw your comment. I asked you a very simple question on the basis of comments that were made by our own party's leader. If you don't have an answer, please do not come out and make these kind of outrageous claims on national television, because I think all you are doing is going to further inflame passions on a very sensitive subject. Whether there is proof, whether there is no proof is an entirely different matter. Why don't you just apologize for your comment, Mr. Chaudhary, and move along?
Now, why these communal bigots in your panel bringing in the love jihad angle out here? Why did
is the father a communal bigot, sir? Is the father of the girl, is the father of the victim a communal bigot in your view?
That is it. No, the father is going through what emotions you and I will not understand. The person goes through the
So when he is saying the very fact, when he is also saying this, that should be probed. He is saying what should be probed.
Who gave you the right?
Nobody is giving anyone the right.
Give you that right. No. Then you must apologize to the nation.
For what?
For bringing in the love jihad angle in a national
Sir, it is the father who has spoken to the media today saying so. My God, Mr. Chaudhary, this is shocking. Here you are demanding an encounter for the perpetrator of this crime, something that is completely unconstitutional and illegal. And I don't think we can even carry on this debate, Mr. Chaudhary, because this is highly irresponsible of a person of your stature and of your experience. I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan to counter all of these points, because Dr. Ranganathan, it's very shocking that, offense is the best form of defense, some say, but what Mr. Kamruzaman Chaudhary is saying today is far beyond offensive as well. It's illegal, downright.
Absolutely, and far from apologizing, I am so shocked that the erudite Mr. Chaudhary has said that he did not even say it. So can I please, in the interest of your viewers, can you please replay what he said exactly and then demand an apology? Because I am sorry, on live television, a member of the polity of a responsible party cannot demand an encounter.
Absolutely, and Anand Ranganathan, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't want to replay such controversial comments again. I just want to quickly go across to some of our other panelists. And Tala Rashidi, I hope you will also unequivocally condemn what the other panelists just said in terms of demanding an encounter. End of the day, you're a lawyer, sir. We all believe in our legal and judicial system, and we have to retain that faith and hope that the prosecutors do their job to the best of their abilities.
Exactly, anything that's extrajudicial should be condemned, but at the same time we should put our focus on getting justice to our sister, to Shraddha, to her family, instead of politicizing and communalizing the matter, instead of beating the bush around issues that have no impact to the case. We should demand a fast track court case in this matter. We should demand a fast investigation in this matter. We should demand for capital punishment to the killer, to the accused killer rather.
Okay.
But at the same time, we need to understand that instead of politicizing this matter, instead of communalizing this matter, this will only bring shame to the matter.
Okay, Sujata Pandey, your name was taken several times during the course of the debate. I couldn't come to you earlier. Your response to all of those queries that were raised.
So first thing is to Congress, it's easy to say that Congress, Priyanka Gandhi is not the Home Minister or the Chief Minister or the Prime Minister, so why should she comment on this particular case? Was she a Home Minister, Chief Minister, Prime Minister when Kathua happened, or was she holding some important official position when Hathras happened? Why did Rahul Gandhi make that sweeping comment on the Hindus that Hindu mandiron mein ladkiyon ko chhedne jate hain? Why did that entire campaign of not in my name, and I'm ashamed to be Hindu ran? Why did that entire placard campaign was supported by the left lobby and including Congress party and their leaders?
Look at the sick nature of their polity out here. Now Anandji will not object to this.
I just want to say this, that any crime, all of these crimes are equally shocking. We cannot perhaps compare crimes, but the fact is that this is as gruesome as it gets over here in the heart of the national capital. The manner in which the evidence was sought to be, buried, the way in which the body was brutally chopped up, all attempts at cover up. There's so many sordid angles that are coming out day by day, hour by hour, that has completely shocked all of us. There have been several shocking incidents that may have taken place. Perhaps comparisons are fair or they are not fair. The only point is this, that we should all be coming out and unequivocally as citizens speaking out against this brutality, because the unfortunate reality is, despite the outrage after Nirbhaya, despite the criminal amendment acts that our parliaments have enacted, attitudes have remained exactly the same, which have enabled such individuals to carry out these kind of heinous acts. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us on debate number 1. And moving on to the top focus at this hour, India was today seen shining like a bright star at the G20 summit in Indonesia's Bali, from US President Joe Biden reaching out to Prime Minister Modi for a handshake, to UK PM Rishi Sunak, French President Emmanuel Macron, as well as the host nation's President Joko Widodo seen engaging with Prime Minister Modi at the G20. The bonhomie between the Prime Minister and the world's most powerful leaders was on full display. The Prime Minister even had a 30-second brief encounter with Chinese President Xi Jinping at the G20 summit, when the Prime Minister himself got up from his chair and reached out and shook hands with Xi Jinping. This was the first such engagement of the two world leaders since the 2020 Galwan clash. The PM at the G20 today said that India is a ray of hope for the world in the 21st century, and that India thinks today and it thinks big. Listen in.
भारत के पास भी इंडोनेशिया को देने के लिए बहुत कुछ है। आज भारत अभूतपूर्व स्पीड पर काम कर रहा है और अप्रत्याशित स्केल पर काम कर रहा है। अब भारत छोटा सोचता ही नहीं है। स्टैच्यू बनाएगा तो दुनिया में सबसे बड़ा, स्टेडियम बनाएगा तो दुनिया में सबसे बड़ा।
As India stole the show at the G20 today, the BJP didn't shy away from claiming that the world never took note of India when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister of the country, and that India had come a long way under the Prime Minister's leadership. Listen in.
I don't think there is politics in it. These are plain facts. We cannot deny certain facts. Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, but he did not have the kind of political heft that Mr. Modi has. And I don't think it's about politics. It's plain facts, and we see it almost every day. We have these kind of engagements.
The Congress, however, scoffed at the comparison made by the BJP and tweeted a 2010 video of Manmohan Singh meeting with the then US President Barack Obama at the G20 summit in Toronto. The Congress also took a dig at the Prime Minister for his meeting with the Chinese President. Congress leader Udit Raj tweeted saying that India is waiting. When will the Prime Minister show red eyes to China? Listen in to the opposition's attack.
Well, every statement that comes from the BJP's media head is not to be taken seriously at all. As far as the Prime Minister is concerned, well, he's the Prime Minister of India. You've taken, you're heading the G20 at the moment. Respect given to the Prime Minister is respect given to India.
I don't know who is Amit Malviya, but I know Mr. Nitin Gadkari, who was once the chief of BJP. He was president of BJP. And you can just remember what Nitin Gadkari said, that the country should be grateful for the reforms done by Manmohan Singh for what he has done. I think it is Amit Malviya's this statement is rubbish.
हर सरकारों में G20 का सवाल हो, शिखर सम्मेलन का सवाल हो, देश के प्रधानमंत्री अन्य देशों के प्रधानमंत्री से बातचीत करते रहते हैं। कि इसके पहले देश के प्रधानमंत्री अन्य प्रधानमंत्री से नहीं मिले हैं क्या? मनमोहन सिंह से तो कई बार कई राष्ट्रों के प्रधानमंत्री राष्ट्राध्यक्षों से लगातार कान में बात करते हुए लोगों ने देखा है।
देखिए, ये चाटुकारिता की पराकाष्ठा है। दरअसल हिंदुस्तान ने जो पिछले 7 दशकों में एक वैश्विक आर्थिक शक्ति की वजह से जो प्रतिष्ठा हासिल की है, आज भारत को उसका सम्मान मिल रहा है।
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And more on this, we're joined by Aparajita Sarangi, MP of the BJP. Dr. Anand Ragnathan, author, is with us. Kamruzaman Chaudhary of the Congress continues to be with us. Abbas Haider is a spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Aparajita Sarangi, we've heard today what has been said by the Congress in response to the BJP's assertion. They're saying it's factually wrong, that Dr. Manmohan Singh was himself as much respected as other prime ministers, and it is the office or the chair of the Prime Minister of India that is gathering this respect. And there are several aspects and incidents that have been quoted as well. Your quick response to that, Aparajita Sarangi.
A very good evening. Truth is bitter, but I think some people need to have the courage to accept the truth. The fact is that Honorable Prime Minister seems to lead from the front, not only within the nation but also beyond the boundaries of our country. See, We have seen his photographs, we have seen the way he has been talking to everybody, we have seen how the other leaders have taken note of him. And let me tell you, Vladimir Putin, a very few weeks back, had hugely praised our Prime Minister, and many world leaders have talked of 4 things, good things in India, which have come up under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. One is his philosophy, his concept of India first. Number 2, Digital India. Number 3, Make in India. And number 4, the way we handled COVID. We tried to give vaccines to not less than 100 countries and medicines to many. So I think on all fronts, India has been engaging with different countries.
Okay.
And we have been, been a center point everywhere.
All right. I want to quickly get a response.
Yeah.
Let me quickly get in response to some of the points that you've made, and I want to go across to Kamruzaman Chaudhary on that. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, whether it is the vaccines, the Vaccine Maitri program, whether it is India's independent foreign policy when it comes to Ukraine, where we have balanced our concerns of both the East and West. We have been the only Quad member, for instance, that has not come out and openly criticized Russia. Several other points that the BJP has been making, but the point that they're making is that it's because of those positions of strength that India has taken in recent years that we are seeing this reciprocation at the G20. Your response to that?
Basically, Madhavan, you know something, Amit Malviya, the IT cell head of the BJP, he might want to eulogize the Prime Minister Narendra Modi on a foreign country. That's absolutely fine, because he's a political person. But when we plant a tree, it doesn't bear fruit immediately, but as the tree grows, it begins to bear the fruits. The tree that was planted in 1947 by the Congress leaders along with the entire nation is beginning to bear fruit, and it's the fruit that the Congress party had planted that all of us are enjoying now. My Prime Minister is on a foreign country. I will not want to criticize him on a foreign country, but you must acknowledge the fact that the India did not begin and did not start from 2014. It is a period of time that India has evolved and is a national and an international power now because of the policies of the successive prime ministers and successive governments. We need to acknowledge them rather than demonize them or dehumanize them.
Quick response from Aparajita Sarangi before coming across to Dr. Anand Raghunath. Quick response. Aparajita Sarangi, India did not start in 2015. It is a continuum of government that is now seeing its fruits being borne out in the international arena. Please respond very quickly to that.
See, we are the ones who have acknowledged the liberalization policy of Narasimha Rao ji, and we all are well aware of the fact that the Congress, the Gandhi family had almost discarded his philosophy and his ideas. So it's very wrong to say that we talk about ourselves only and we do not give regard to others. The fact remains that we have been doing extremely well on all fronts, including at the international stage, and there are people who are unhappy with the fact that India is getting of importance at the international stage.
Very quickly. Let me bring in Dr. Anand Raghunathan. We have limited time, Dr. Raghunathan, but many would say, and critics of this government at least would say, that even policies such as Act East are rooted in the Look East policy that India had during Dr. Narasimha Rao's regime as Prime Minister. So there are several parallels to be drawn here. Does Kamruzaman Chaudhary have a point at all? Do you agree with him?
No, I certainly compliment Mr. Chaudhary for making those remarks, because let me be very honest, a position of strength is the result of progression of strength. If India is strong today, if Mr. Modi is able to project and people listen to him and understand him and value him and our country, it is because of a tremendous work done by all previous Prime Ministers, including Dr. Manmohan Singh and Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and others before him. The point is Mr. Modi strong now? So does that mean that Dr. Manmohan Singh was weak or Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was weak? It's not like that. You can't. Comparison of this scale is futile because it has been a progression of strength.
Right.
Now I want to make two. If I have a minute, Madhav.
Very quickly, please.
Okay. I just wanted to say that India is a strong nation, but more than that, it is a friendly nation. This is what sets us apart. There are other strong nations, but we are a strong as well as a friendly nation. And I want to talk about the philosophical positioning here because that is crucial. When Modi ji talks about India as a Jagat Guru, what does he mean? To me, He means imbibing the phrase he likes to use, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is my family.
Right.
Modern genetics has shown how exceptionally liberal, progressive and scientific it is. The fact of the matter is, we are so friendly because we believe in this. Just 30 seconds. We trade goods worth $620 billion with 194 nations and rank impressively on the overall trade index. We welcome all with open arms, are ranked 34th amongst most friendly countries. Our refugee policy, says the UNHCR, is an example of the world to follow. We have committed ourselves to the Paris climate deal, even though it would mean sacrificing on the speed of growth that all rich countries before us shield away from. Are these not the traits displayed by people who only love their nation? So, in combating those who peddle an obtuse and bizarre idea of India, let us not forget the idea from India, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Right. All right, let me take that question across to the SP spokesperson who's with us on the panel, Abbas Haider. Abbas Haider ji, we have heard what the BJP panelist has said. You've heard the achievements of India that Dr. Anand Raghunathan has listed. But the point that is being made by the BJP is that opposition is not able to digest the success. जो भारत की success international arena में रही है, वो opposition parties digest नहीं कर पा रही और इसी वजह से मोदी डिप्लोमेसी को भी criticize किया जा रहा है. क्या कहेंगे आपने?
I strongly believe that we should respect our leaders, irrespective of the party line, especially when they are representing us in our international platform. The problem is, see, I respect our leader, but it cannot be done on the cost of demeaning the predecessor. This is something, they are setting a wrong example, which they have been setting by the IT cell and the PR agencies of Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, I was expecting a picture of Modi ji showing lal aag to Xi Jinping, who has continued to illegally occupy 34,000 square kilometers of our territory. I mean, see, we are going to preside over the G20. We will be the third last member of G20 out of
Quick
the
response.
19 to preside over the G20.
Okay, I got your point, sir. Let's get a response to the BJP. Let's get a response to the BJP. After what's happened in Ladakh, what's happened in Galwan, why are we seeing this interaction? If I've got the sum and substance of the question of the SP spokesperson, Aparajita Sarangi, would you like to take that? Yeah.
See, they have to.
You made your question, sir.
Acknowledge
Listen to our
and
response now.
See, these people have to acknowledge and appreciate the good work being done at the international level and within the nation. IMF has the big heart to praise India. WB, the World Bank, has been praising India for its digitization, IMF for the direct benefit transfer system. We are the 5th largest economy. Leaving Britain behind, we have come forward, and by 2030 we will be the 3rd largest economy as per the statement.
Ma'am, the question was on diplomacy and China, but I think you're talking about economy here. I want Anand to quickly respond to that. Last comment, please. We have to close the debate after this. Anand, 30 seconds.
Yes, last comment, last question to Ms. Sarangi. You see, Pakistan perpetrated the Pulwama bombing. We cut off our relationships and trade with Pakistan. China perpetrated Galwan, and our trade imbalance has grown to $120 billion. Could you please explain that, Ms. Sarangi?
Aparajita Sarangi, 30 seconds, quickly, please.
See, I can only say that it is up to you what spectacles you wear to actually look at the way we are working. It all depends on you. So the thing
Anand Raghunathan will not wear any other colored spectacles than you would imagine, madam. But we can leave it there for the moment. I'd like to thank Dr. Raghunathan, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, Abbas Haider and Aparajita Sarangi for joining us. It's a big moment for India. And no doubt for the next 1 year, India is going to have the presidency of the G20. It's a moment that we should all as Indians be welcoming. Unfortunately, we're seeing the specter of politics playing out even at this moment. We leave you with that thought, ladies and gentlemen.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break. You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Left marched against Kerala Governor in Thiruvananthapuram after he stalled 2 bills and sought resignations of 9 VCs of Kerala varsities. CPM claims around 1 lakh people marched near Raj Bhavan. 2 doctors have been suspended after teenage footballer Priya's death in Chennai due to an alleged botched surgery. A 3-member inquiry commission has been formed to look into the matter. After a 55-year-old Bengaluru man was crushed by a tractor, angry residents staged a stir against civic apathy. Kong also slammed the Bombay government, said they don't care for the lives of innocent people. 14 people have been arrested in a week in UP's Fatehpur for induced conversions and 10 held in MP's Damoh for allegedly converting minors to Christianity. Supreme Court hears whether greater curbs can be imposed on Neta's public speech, observes unwritten rule and constitutional culture suggest people in public service should not indulge in loose talk.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमंत
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए कल राखी सावंत का फिल्म ऑल्सो बिकम सांसद बनना चाहेंगे उसको तो आप बनने नहीं देंगे। आप दिमाग में सबको ऐसा डाल के रखेंगे फिल्म स्टार ही बनेगा। आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमंत
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए कल राखी सावंत का फिल्म ऑल्सो बिकम। बहुत अच्छी बात है।
आपका क्या विचार है इस बार? आप
मेरा विचार क्या मैं बताऊं? मेरा विचार भगवान के ऊपर है। लॉर्ड कृष्णा विल डू इट।
मैं तो देश की सेवा के लिए ही पैदा हुई हूँ और मैं देश की सेवा करना चाहती हूँ और क्यों नहीं हमारे मोदी साहब हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी चाय बनाते बनाते प्रधानमंत्री जी पीएम बन सकते हैं तो मैं बॉलीवुड में काम करते करते सीएम क्यों नहीं बन सकती हूँ? डेफिनेटली मैं बनूंगी। आप सबका आशीर्वाद चाहिए।
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. It's a murder that has stunned India. More and more details are now emerging of how Aftab Poonawalla murdered his partner, Shraddha, and disposed of her body in a meticulous and macabre way. But even as the murder investigation progresses, politics has also entered the fray. Today, protests were held across cities, from Delhi to Mumbai, demanding that a probe be conducted into whether Shraddha was a victim of love jihad. This after Shraddha's father made an allegation of love jihad while speaking to news agency ANI. Speaking to ANI, Shraddha's father said that he suspects a love jihad angle and that he expects nothing less than the death penalty for Aftab for what he has done. Earlier in his FIR, he had also claimed that in 2019, when Shraddha first told her mother about her live-in relationship with Aftab, both parents had opposed it because of the difference in their religion. Today, Shraddha's father is a broken man, wondering what if he had stepped in just in time to insist against this killer relationship.
कब बात हुई थी आप लोग की लास्ट और इस आफ्ताब पे शक कब हुआ आप लोग को?
हम लोग को शक तो मतलब उनके श्रद्धा के दोस्त है, उन्होंने इन्फॉर्म किया कि श्रद्धा कुछ मीटिंग का मुझे लग रहा था जी, ये उन्होंने बताया कुछ अगस्त में। हाँ, तब हम लोग फिर कंप्लेंट करने गए थे वैसे पुलिस। मुझे उसके माँ ने बताया कि जून में आई थी मेरे पास। एक्चुअली जब ये उसने डिक्लेयर किया कि श्रद्धा इज नो मोर, तब मैं इतना कंडीशन में नहीं था सुनने के।
मस्त सर।
तभी जब भी बॉम्बे में वो जॉब करने लगी तभी उसकी मुलाकात किया आफ्ताब से हुई।
रिलीजन वॉज एन इशू और
नहीं, फर्स्ट इम्प्रेशन तो वही था मेरा कि रिलीजन तो हम लोग इतना वो ये नहीं करते हो। मैं और मेरी वाइफ गई थी और मेरे सिस्टर भी गई थी।
की लड़कियों को अपने फांस में जब लाना, चाहे प्यार मोहब्बत, चाहे वेशभूषा बदल करके, और फिर अगर धर्म नहीं स्वीकारा तो उसकी यही हालत होती है। न राहुल गांधी बोलेंगे और न जिन्ना के रास्ते पर चलने वाले ओवैसी बोलेंगे।
ये भी दिखाता है कि ये क्रिमिनल माइंडेड इंसान जो है वो हो सकता है कि दूसरे भी महिला के साथ कुछ हो सकता था, पर मैं तो ये कहूंगी कि ऐसे केसेस जो है फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट पे चलाना चाहिए और तुरंत ऐसे लोगों को समाज में से प्रिजन के अंदर होना चाहिए और ऐसे लोगों को फांसी की सजा मिलनी चाहिए ताकि कोई और दोबारा ऐसे कोई क्राइम करने के बारे में सोचे भी नहीं।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Alright, joining us on the News Hour agenda, lawyers Kapil Madan and Shahid Ali, leader of the Rashtriya Ulema Council, Huzaifa Amir Rashadi, Sri Raj Nair, national spokesperson of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. My first question is to Ram Kadam, MLA of the BJP in Mumbai. Mr. Ram Kadam, why do you think this is love jihad?
See, Padmaja, as you know that this morning we staged a protest in Ghatkopar, and we have demanded that Delhi police should probe this heinous crime from the love jihad angle. Because if you see the modus operandi of the criminal, and there are several points which should be probed by the Delhi police. It is not the normal murder case. It is not just a murder case. It's a heinous crime, demonic crime, and they should probe this love jihad angle. Firstly, this criminal met her on dating site, where he pretended that he is a woman rights activist. Later on, he forced her, separated from her family. They bought a place in Delhi which is adjacent to one of the forest, and firstly he behaved very sober, but later on Shraddha complained that he threatened her to kill her, he threatened her to kill. So these kind of all these incidents is a typical modus operandi of love jihad.
Sir, let me just stop you for a second. Fine, this is a heinous crime, it is a blood-curdling crime, it is a toe-curling crime. I agree with all of that. But how is it love jihad?
See, Do you have any proofs or evidence that it is not love jihad, or does anyone have any proofs that it is not love jihad?
For one, love jihad is when somebody forces you to marry or change your religion and fools you into doing so. यहाँ तो उल्टा हो रहा था. यहाँ तो श्रद्धा कह रही थी हाँ मैं शादी करना चाहती हूँ, वो कह रहा था मैं नहीं करूँगा तुमसे शादी. लव जिहाद तो उल्टा होता है ना कि आप कहो शादी कर लो मेरे साथ.
Without any No. There are two types of love jihad. One is they force that lady to change into their religion. And the second one, they have been, in the past also we have seen that they killed the Hindu girl. This is what the love jihad is in both the factions. Without investigating or without probing this angle, how can we conclude that it is not love jihad?
Okay, how can you conclude?
Does anyone have any proof that it is not love jihad?
How can you conclude, especially when the father is saying so? Shahid Ali.
Mr. Kadam's statement, in fact, is an interference in the investigation being done by Delhi police. They have been levying allegations without there being anything on the court. We have heard the statement of father, we have heard the statement of friends as well, and on various debates as well. So far, we have come to the conclusion that undoubtedly this was a ghastly murder, gruesome murder, and the killer should be punished severely. He should be hanged as per law. There is no doubt to that. But bringing into this not only the criminality, but saying the love jihad and all kind of things is not only rubbish, but shows the pollution in their mind, the communality in their mind, that what kind of mentality these people have. In fact, these people need to be sent to asylum so that their mind is treated properly, so that our country may be strengthened. These kind of people, in fact, are ruining the image of India at international level and also of Mr. Narendra Modi.
You are influencing the investigation already, Mr. Kadam.
As for the investigation,
आप MLA हैं, MLA होकर के आप already love jihad का angle इसमें ढूंढ रहे हैं, तो आप investigation को influence और mislead कर रहे हैं.
See, first of all, no. Allow me to put my some points.
Interfering in administration of justice.
We are just wait. There are certain points which can lead this entire heinous crime towards love jihad. So probing from the love jihad angle, is there any harm? What is of paramount importance? To give justice to Shraddha and her family. And if you want to give justice to her family, or we want to stop this kind of incidents henceforth, then we have to, we have to go to the roots. First,
do you feel that Delhi police is not competent enough?
Time. Allow me to
do you feel that Delhi police is not competent enough, then they will not investigate from all angles?
Firstly, let me praise Delhi police.
They will investigate from all angles. But a person who is elected by the people, who is holding the office of being MLA, is writing a letter.
Can we speak one by one?
One by one, but very serious charges are being made, Mr. Kadam. Here is a family. You are an MLA. Aftab Poonawalla is a murderer, no doubt. But he is not an influential person, you are. Giriraj Singh is an influential person. Now the Delhi police will feel compelled to try and look for a communal angle in a horrific, grisly murder. And mind you, so far the police has said no such thing. Mr. Kadam.
Padmaja ji, my point is, for this such a sad, again I'll repeat, demonic crime, standing with Shraddha's family, supporting her family, asking or demanding justice to her family, is it not correct?
No, absolutely. You should stand with the family. The charge on you is that you are standing with the family for your political interest. Because this is a very interesting twist to give. Because it suits your purpose.
Let me answer your question. Let me answer your question. There are certain points where this criminal was pretending that he was woman rights activist. Firstly he was sober, then indulged into beating her. There are a sequence. So this entire sequence is not a normal sequence. As I said, this is not a just murder. this is a conspiracy. And if Delhi police will not investigate or probe this entire case from the love jihad angle, her family will not get justice. This is what our point is. We are not going to influence anyone. Of course, tomorrow morning I am going to write later to Delhi Police Commissioner that he should consider this angle as well. There is no harm.
Okay, Kapil Madan, not influencing, only ensuring that anything is not overlooked. Kapil Madan.
Now, let me, first, say very unequivocally here that we should not jump the gun. I mean, what Mr. Kadam is trying to do, and you have very fairly and very, you have asked a very cogent question, Padmaja, that on what basis you are making an allegation. Now, the response given by Mr. Kadam, it looks to me that he wants to first draw a conclusion and thereafter the investigation should follow. This is what Mr. Kadam is trying to say. However, in reality, the process is reverse. First, you will find out facts. First, you will find out the evidence, and then only you can come to a conclusion either way. Then what was the cause? I mean, one thing on this debate, each of the panelists here agrees, they are ad idem, that this is a gruesome murder. The person who has committed this ghastly act should be convicted and should be punished. And I would also say here, the case looks like to me to fall in the category of rarest of rare cases, and it should invite capital punishment. However, the process of law needs to be followed here, and therefore what Mr. Kadam, the response of Mr. Kadam is very hollow. He does not have any data, he does not have any fact, he does not have any evidence.
The father has made such a claim, and I want to ensure that anything the family says is not overlooked.
I don't want to make this as a political debate, but if Mr. Kadam, I never interrupted you. Mr. Kadam, you will get the opportunity. Mr. Kadam, you will get the opportunity to rebut. Allow me to finish, and then you can come back with your rebuttal. Now, what Mr. Kadam is trying to argue, we are in Delhi. The police is with the Home Ministry. Are you now trying to say here that if this is a love jihad angle, the police is not investigating, which comes directly under Amit Shah? So you are basically trying to raise question against your own government. And I am trying to reason here is that you should wait for the investigation to get over. One thing is absolutely clear. The reports that suggest, and if the reports are true, this is a ghastly, horrible, and a monstrous act, and that should have the strictest punishment that is provided under the law. And to my understanding, that should be the capital.
In fact, the charge also is that this is only trying to create polarization in society, and it's a sign of our times that the moment a crime happens, for example, I'll quote an example to you. Today morning, the story of Shraddha, right under it, there was a story of another man in Uttar Pradesh who a few years ago had murdered his wife in a fit of rage, and then he stuffed her into plastic bags after cutting her into 45 pieces. Now that man was a Hindu man, his wife was his Hindu wife. What was that? What jihad was that?
Yeah, I know whom you are quoting to, that great journalist who always tries to, justify things. I don't want to go on that. But I have a list of 35, Madam Padmaja, I have a list of more than 35 girls who have been chopped, who have been filled in gunny bags, who have been thrown in sea. Myself and Mr. Ramkadam both come from Mumbai. It is a case of last month only, where a girl who fell in love with a Muslim boy, was trapped in love jihad. He chopped her and he threw in the sea. And there are 35 girls who have been, more than 35 girls who have been trapped in this heinous love jihad and then brutally and barbarically killed and thrown, or either, now this is a specific unique case.
There may have been, but this case is not one of them, you would agree, right? What proof do you have that this case is one of them? For example, even Shraddha's father says in his FIR that she went of her own volition. She said, "मैं जा रही हूँ घर छोड़ करके." Nobody dragged her away. Nobody trapped her. Nobody gave her allurements. Nobody tricked her. Aftab didn't say my name is Amar. He always said I am Aftab.
From the top of our voice that love jihad is rampant. It is a reality. but a section of society, the so-called liberal, the so-called bindi-clad activists, the so-called selective activists, the Khan Market gang, they are in a denial mode.
Mr. Nair, we may look at each case on a case-by-case basis, but what evidence do you have about this being one such case? Is my limited point. In the present case, by trying to make it a case of love jihad, aren't you misdirecting?
Rightly said. He pretended to be an activist, a woman rights activist. He pretended to be sober. He pretended to be very humble. He pretended to be a gentleman. He pretended to be a chef. He trapped the girl, ensured that she leaves
but that
the family.
makes him a liar and a horrible person. That still doesn't make him a love jihadi, as it were. Because he didn't say, I am not Aftab.
Definitely, this is the what do you mean? Love jihad does not mean kidnapping and taking the girl away by force. This is the real definition of love
Shahid
jihad.
Ali wants to respond. Then I want to bring in Huzaifa Amir Ashari. Yes, Shahid Ali, respond.
No, Padmaja.
I just want to say one thing only. Mr. Kadam has right now said that he can give example of 25 such cases wherein in these kind of situations and the cases of love jihad, putting the cases of love jihad, the girls have been killed. I am challenging on air to this man. Can he show even a single judgment from any of the honorable court, holding that on account of love jihad, any of the girl or boy was killed, and vice versa,
where Hindus and Christian girls were lured and
sir, please stop dividing the country. Please stop dividing the country. Please stop dividing the country.
Yes. Made on that.
Accept the challenge and show me one judgment.
Padmaja, allow me to say something,
accept
please.
The challenge.
My simple. Padmaja,
yes,
allow me to say something.
Mr. Kadam.
How long you will be in denial mode?
How
long we will lose our
I have to wait. Listen to me. First, whoever is opposing for this valid point, or for that matter, even Shraddha's father also demanded that police should probe from the love jihad angle. Let's talk on one particular point. What is the harm? If police probe in this direction, what is the harm? What's your problem? What is paramount importance? But Shraddha's parents, their family should get justice. That is more important. What is more important? When that criminal cheated her, his modus operandi, if you look at from the day one till the time he killed her, he dismembered her body parts into 35 pieces, and those were in the fridge, and that time he called some of the women in the house. If you calculate all these certain points, so these all points will lead towards the love jihad. So probing in an angle, there is no harm at all. So police should not ignore that angle. This is what we are saying. We are not saying this is love jihad. We are saying this angle should be probed. So what is the harm?
हुज़ैफा बताइए, इसको भी प्रोब कर लीजिए. कोई ये नहीं कह रहा कि ये है ही है, बट इसको प्रोब करने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है.
In fact, we are saying this is love jihad. We don't want.
मैडम देखिए,
absolutely love jihad.
देखिए मैडम, ऐसा है कि एक हमेशा इस तरह की कोशिश की जाती है, जब भी विक्टिम का नाम उर्दू वाला होता है तो इस तरह का प्रोपेगेंडा चलाया जाता है बीजेपी के जरिए. आप मुझको बताइए कि सड़क से लेकर के सदन तक हर मुसलमान ने कंडेम किया इसको, हर आदमी फांसी की डिमांड कर रहा है. क्या किसी ने महापंचायत की उसके सपोर्ट में, या किसी ने ट्विटर पे ट्रेंड चलाया, और वो किसी ने अंतराय निकाली हो?
जो लीडरशिप है,
प्लीज खामोश हो जाइए, सुन लीजिए मेरी बात. बहुत देर से आप लोग को सुन रहा हूँ, सुनिए.
This is nothing related to.
You people are responsible. The Muslim leadership is responsible.
अब सुनिए एक मिनट यार, बहुत देर से बोल रहे हैं आप.
लोगों को जाहिल बना के रखते हैं और फिर वो गुनहगार बनते हैं.
This is not
कौन कितना पढ़ा लिखा है.
Okay, one at a time, please. Let Huzaifa at least start speaking. हाँ, Huzaifa बोलिए.
There are some groups.
इनको खामोश कराइए मैडम.
बोले
मैडम, मैं वही कह रहा हूं कि आप देख लीजिए कि सड़क से लेकर सदन तक पूरे मुल्क भर के हर मुसलमान, हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डिमांड कर रहा है कि फास्ट ट्रैक पे आप केस चला करके उसको फांसी की सजा दी जिसने इस तरह का काम को अंजाम दिया है। क्या किसी ने महापंचायत की उसके सपोर्ट में, या किसी मुस्लिम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने सपोर्ट किया उसका, किसी ने ट्विटर पर ट्रेंड चलाया उसके सपोर्ट में, किसी ने वहां पर कुछ किया हो? ये इस तरह के जो बात कर रहे हैं लव जिहाद से जो लोग जोड़ रहे हैं, ये सिर्फ चुनाव सामने है, कई स्टेटों में प्रोपेगेंडा चलाना है खास तबके के खिलाफ, मेजॉरिटी में एक मैसेज देना है। ये इनकी हमेशा की कोशिश रही है बीजेपी की। जो एमएलए बैठे हुए हैं बीजेपी के, ये कह रहे हैं कि किसी के पास प्रूफ हो तो ला करके देख लो लव जिहाद नहीं है। इनके पास कौन सा प्रूफ है कि वो लव जिहाद है? क्या उसने उसका रिलीजन में कन्वर्ट किया है?
Now listen to me. First of all, wait. No, first of all, this is not fight against any religion. We respect each and every religion. This is fight against that criminal mentality. There are some groups, there are some gangs who have been misleading our youth, who have been brainwashing our youth to indulge in such kind of heinous crime. So this fight is against that criminal mindset. This fight is not against any religion. We respect all the religions. Please try to understand this.
And this is an important point.
आपके एक मिनिस्टर ने, एक सीनियर मिनिस्टर ने एक स्टेटमेंट दे करके पूरे हिंदुस्तान में एक मैसेज दे दिया कि आप इसको रिलीजन से जोड़ रहे हो, एक खास तबके को टारगेट कर रहे हो।
आप एक चीज सही बोल रहे हैं कि कभी बिल्कुल सही बोल रहे हैं। आप कह रहे हैं कि जब भी इस तरीके के क्राइम को कम्युनिटी से जोड़ा जाता है तो एक मैसेज दे दिया जाता है। इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग यू से दैट हुजैफा, बिकॉज दैट हैज बीन आवर स्टैंड ऑलवेज कि क्राइम को क्राइम की नजर से देखा जाना चाहिए, उसको कभी धर्म से जोड़ के नहीं देखना चाहिए। पर क्या होता है, जब कठुआ में एक बच्ची का रेप होता है, सबसे पहले लोग कूद के पहुंच जाते हैं कि वो मंदिर में रेप हुआ, तो देखो क्योंकि मंदिर की वजह से वहां पे रेप हुआ। हाथरस में कांड हुआ, सबसे पहले उसको कास्ट एंगल दिया गया कि अरे वो दलित थी इसलिए उसको अपर कास्ट के लोगों ने उसका रेप किया। दिल्ली कैंट में रेप होता है, वहां पर आप कहते हैं वो बच्ची को एक पुरोहित ने आकर के रेप किया था। तो ये मैसेज उन लोगों को भी जाता है ना जो हर चीज में कम्युनल, कास्ट, पॉलिटिकल एंगल ढूंढने के लिए आतुर रहते हैं। आज आप कह रहे हैं कि भाई डोंट डिमोनाइज अ कम्युनिटी, यू आर राइट, बट शुडंट दैट बी द केस विद एवरी क्राइम मिस्टर रशादी? ये बात उस वक्त भी याद आनी चाहिए ना जब हाथरस को सिर्फ आप एक दलित क्राइम की तरह देखते हैं। क्राइम इज क्राइम, इट्स अ डिस्पिकेबल हीनस क्राइम, पर तब आप दलित एंगल को लेकर के एक दलित एक्टिविज्म करते हैं। क्यों? वो भी गलत नहीं है हुजैफा?
मैडम मैंने कई बार आपके साथ डिबेट किया, आप मेरा कहीं स्टेटमेंट दिखा दीजिए कि मैंने क्राइम को क्राइम ना बोला हो या किसी एंगल से, बल्कि बीजेपी के फ्रिंज एलिमेंट चला रहे हैं ट्विटर पे। आप देखिए दलित बेटी के साथ हुआ, दलित बेटी के साथ हुआ, श्रद्धा दलित बेटी थी हमारी।
आप मानेंगे नहीं मानेंगे कि जब हाथरस में रेप हुआ था तब वहां पर लोग सिर्फ इसलिए गए थे ये कह के कि भाई दलित के ऊपर अत्याचार हो रहा है, अपर कास्ट अत्याचार कर रहे हैं, ये हो रहा है न्यू इंडिया में। जब दिल्ली कैंट में रेप हुआ, द ओनली रीजन पीपल प्रोटेस्टेड, इनफैक्ट राहुल गांधी वेंट अहेड एंड ट्वीटेड सेइंग दैट शी इज नॉट जस्ट दलित की बेटी, शी इज इंडिया की बेटी। ऑफ कोर्स शी इज इंडिया की बेटी, should care for every India की बेटी सर, instead of suddenly making it about caste atrocity। तब तो आपको याद नहीं आता that communities are being demonized। आपको नहीं लगा that in Kathua an entire community was demonized? Why was the whole focus on a temple in Kathua? Why? Because अगर टेम्पल नहीं होता तो वो क्राइम नहीं होता।
मैडम अगर आप उसकी बात करेंगे तो अभी गुजरात के अंदर क्या हुआ मैडम? गुजरात के अंदर 15 बलात्कारी जेल से निकले तो उनको माला बनाकर स्वागत किया गया।
हमने डिबेट किया, वो गलत है, वो कोई कंडोन नहीं कर रहा है, वो कोई नहीं कह रहा है कि सही है, बट द पॉइंट इज हु डिसाइड्स टू पॉलिटिसाइज अ क्राइम एंड गिव इट अ रिलीजियस कम्युनल कलर? देन यू हैव समथिंग लाइक दिस which comes as a pushback. Kapil Madan, why don't the same people who are today condemning a love jihad angle also stand up to Rahul Gandhi and say no, don't look at a crime through the Dalit lens or through a caste lens or through a religious lens? तब तो याद नहीं आता क्यों?
ठीक है मैडम, देखिए कोई जनरल आदमी क्या बोल रहा है,
that politics is convenient. Now suddenly it becomes problematic. Aren't both problematic? Just a second, Kapil Madan.
मैडम जनरल आदमी क्या बोल रहा है कोई असर नहीं पड़ रहा, मगर गवर्नमेंट का सीनियर मिनिस्टर।
अरे हुफैजा जी सवाल
सर वहां भी कांग्रेस के पूर्व अध्यक्ष बोलते हैं, कोई छुट भैया नेता नहीं बोलता है, बड़े बड़े पूर्व अध्यक्ष बोलते हैं, द सीनियर मोस्ट मेंबर्स ऑफ द पार्टी। They say, बड़े-बड़े लेख लिखे जाते हैं न्यूज़पेपर्स में that in New India, Hindus pick up a Muslim girl. No, she was a little girl.
Can I respond?
It was about the heinous crime. It was not about the religion, sir.
जनरल आदमी ट्विटर पे, फेसबुक पे क्या बोल रहा है वो कोई इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं कर रहा.
Okay, let Kapil Madan respond. Then Sriraj Nayak. Kapil Madan. Yes.
वो ज्यादा मैसेज दे रहा पूरे देश के अंदर.
Now, Padmaja ji, if you've raised a very important question here, and I would appreciate you give me time to respond. Now, when you speak about the BJP, when we had a rape incident at where their sitting MLA was convicted, Mr. Sengar. Now you had a situation where you had rallies in support of the MLA. And he was an accused and he was facing rape charge in Unnav's case. Now the problem happens is that once you have such kind of an incident and you have minister making statement demonizing the victim itself in Hathras, I will give you the name of the minister. He made an allegation. First there was a story that in Hathras the girl might have had an affair.
Sir,
another BJP minister made a
crime is a crime, right? Hathras is a crime, Katwa is a crime, and what happened to Shraddha is a crime, and that should not be linked to community. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Just like Shraddha's murder should not be given a communal spin, so shouldn't have others, right?
Now, I completely agree with you. The moment you bring the religious angle between, you're trying to further divide the society, then you're trying to create more unrest in the society.
And yet, sir, on the 2nd of January, here is what Rahul Gandhi said. महिलाओं का अपमान और सांप्रदायिक नफरत तभी बंद होंगे जब हम एक आवाज में इसके खिलाफ खड़े होंगे. Karti Chidambaram on the whole bully by episode said, it is unacceptable that this project of dangerous anti-Muslim misogyny is back. The fact is, sir, that women of all religions, of all caste backgrounds get tons of abuse on social media. It's just that you chose to highlight one episode and say, oh, this is happening only to one community. No. Ask any woman on social media, she is facing vile abuse, she is getting dirty texts, but you decide to give everything a communal color because that suited your politics. This is condemnable, yes. But that also is condemnable, isn't it?
Padmaja ji, I think you have read Mr. Gandhi's text. I didn't find anything objectionable. But if in contrast you will check the statement made by their minister Parvesh Verma while campaigning for Delhi, he used the rape thing and again tried to give a communal angle. I mean, Mr. Yogi also made these kind of statements.
Why would you
criminalize any crime? I am answering your question, but the point is the wrong should be
that should be the consensus.
You're diverting
my fundamental problem always has been that there is always, thanks to politics, one angle chosen by people, and then you go and run with it.
Now, that's the problem, Padmaja. You don't want to debate the statements made by their prominent minister, which is strikingly apparent, and which is strikingly anti-common.
I have said right at the outset that there is no evidence at hand to show that this is a case of love jihad, and it should be colored as one. But do you have the same conviction to say that when any rape happens in any part of the country, it should be treated as a crime and not turned into political fodder? Because that is exactly what we do in this country, and it is condemnable. When it suits you, you are like, oh, ye Dalit ki beti hai, now we are going to carry out a march. When the same thing happens in a Congress ruled state, you are like, oh, crickets. Now we can't hear what is happening. This is a crime. It doesn't have anything to do with community. Sriraj Nayak. And that kind of hypocrisy, sir, is sickening. I have conviction to say you should not communalize Shraddha's murder. You also should have similar conviction. Sriraj Nayak.
Which is the party that organized rallies?
Sir, I don't know.
You rightly said, Madam Padmaja, if this nation is facing a threat, the threat is selective activism.
I mean,
when they go for tragedy tourism, when any incidents happens in a BJP ruled state, or with incidents where a Muslim is involved, the story is different, the leaders go, they make it a tragedy tourism. But here when it comes, when a matter of love jihad occurs, not a single statement, no bindi clad activists, no actresses coming on road, no placards. This is encouraging this kind of brutal, barbaric killing. Indirectly, these people are also supporting. And we are reiterating this is jihad. If you want to define what love jihad is, this is the real definition of love jihad.
I'm just asking them to come on roads. Are they there only to sit in AC rooms only? Why they are not coming on roads? Why stop them from coming to roads? Why they are not raising the voice of girls? Why they are giving this communal angle? Why they are not standing? Why they are not standing besides the parents of that girl?
Please don't fall in the
No, you have not been. You have just been sitting in AC offices and you have been asking others to come on roads. You have been asking others to come on roads. Where is stop you from coming on roads? You should have courage. Do you have courage to come on roads?
Okay, Huzaifa, finally I am asking you, there are countless crimes unfortunately that happen. Can there be a consensus कि कम से कम क्राइम्स के ऊपर राजनीति नहीं होनी चाहिए, नहीं तो आप अपने हिस्से के क्राइम्स चुन लेंगे कि चलो इसको हम हिंदुत्व क्राइम पेंट कर देंगे, वो अपने हिस्से का क्राइम चुन लेंगे कि इसको हम लव जिहाद पेंट कर देंगे, एंड दैट्स इट. Then it will not be treated as a crime at all. It will only be about the politics associated. Huzaifa.
बिल्कुल मैडम, कौन पॉलिटिक्स कर रहा है उसके ऊपर? आप बताइए किसी मुस्लिम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने उसके सपोर्ट में कुछ कहा हो? हम खुद कंडेम कर रहे हैं.
आपको दसियों गिना दिए ना कि जब भी कोई क्राइम होता है उसको लेकर के सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक कम्युनल एंगल चुना जाता है कि भाई ये यहाँ पर ठाकुरों ने किया है, यहाँ पर अपर कास्ट ने किया है, यहाँ पर पुजारी ने किया है, यहाँ पर दलित की वजह से किया है. सर क्राइम होता है. कोई क्राइम के लिए इसलिए नहीं सिलेक्ट करने जाता है कि अब हम दलित है इसलिए क्राइम कर रहे हैं.
नहीं मैडम, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि आपके जो दो पैनलिस्ट बैठे हुए हैं वो बार बार उसको जिस तरीके से पोर्ट्रे कर रहा है कि लव जिहाद है, इनको रोकिए.
मैं उसकी भर्त्सना कर रही हूँ. मैं ये कह रही हूँ आपसे कि आप भी भर्त्सना कर दीजिए ना कि कभी भी किसी बेटी का शोषण होता है, बेटी पे क्राइम होता है तो कृपया उसको भी सांप्रदायिक कलर देने की कोशिश ना करें.
तरीके से ये हो रहा है, हम कह रहे हैं
नहीं, हमने कभी नहीं किया. और इनको समझाइए कि इनको 20 केस में दिखाऊंगा कि जहां मुस्लिम लड़कियों के साथ ऐसा हुआ है, उस पर कुछ बोलेंगे.
चलिए
चश्मा लगा के आ गए, खाली बोले जा रहे हैं लव जिहाद रख के आए हुए हैं.
कितने मुस्लिम कुछ बोलेंगे इस तरह से फ्रिज में भर दिया या समुद्र में फेंक दिया? आप बताइए. आप एक केस बताइए.
चलिए, अगर कोई हिंदू होता तो क्या कहते आप उसको?
आप एक केस बताइए.
कोई हिंदू होता तो क्या करते आप उसको?
फिर अरे आप इन जिहादियों को आप इन जिहादियों को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. आप ही लोग आपके लीडरशिप, मुस्लिम लीडरशिप जाहिल रखती है, अनपढ़ रखती है और वो गुनाह में लिप्त होती है. और
This is not okay. I am going to give the final word to you, Mr. Ramkadam. You represent the city of Mumbai. That girl belonged to your city. You should be asking for justice for her, not because she is being murdered by an aftab, but because she is a citizen of India and she deserves justice as much as the next person, irrespective of the identity of her murderer, doesn't she?
See, let me tell you, we do not want to politicize this issue. This battle is not against any religion. This battle is against a criminal mindset. The moot point is we have to eliminate that criminal mindset, and for that matter, which are the groups, which are the organizations, they have been misleading our youth and they are forcing them to indulge in such kind of criminal activities. We have to eliminate those points, and that is the most important thing. Now the probing from the love jihad angle, there is no harm at all. At least we'll come to know what is the fact, where we are standing. So the point is, we do not want to politicize. We just want to give justice Shraddha and her family. And without probing all the angles, she will not get justice. This is the point.
So let's leave it at that. If you're promising that this will be devoid of any politics, let's hope that is the case, because her family and most importantly Shraddha herself deserves that the absolute letter of law is applied to the man who deserves no mercy, irrespective of what his name is, because his actions are grisly, gruesome, and they put humanity to shame. Thanks very much all gentlemen for joining us. India is shining at the global stage once again. World leaders lining up to meet and greet India's Prime Minister during the G20 summit in Indonesia's Bali. BJP has now hailed the Modi push at international stage, with party's IT cell chief Amit Malviya tweeting a video of the US President Joe Biden reaching out to the Prime Minister for a handshake. Not just Biden, Prime Minister's bonhomie was on display with a host of other global leaders, including Rishi Sunak, Emmanuel Macron and President of the host country Joko Widodo. The BJP saw it as a new high in India's global standing, claiming that world leaders never took note of India in this fashion when the UPA was in power.
I don't think there is politics in it. These are plain facts. We cannot deny certain facts. Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, but he did not have the kind of political heft that Mr. Modi has. And I don't think it's about politics. It's plain facts, and we see it almost every day. We have these kind of engagements.
Now, naturally, the Congress didn't take the swipe at former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh kindly and countered BJP with the 2010 video of Dr. Manmohan Singh's meeting with the then US President Barack Obama at the G20 summit in Toronto, slamming the BJP. Party spokesperson Supriya Srinath also included Obama's quote in the tweet, saying that Dr. Singh's extraordinary leadership helped the world navigate through some very tough times.
Well, every statement that comes from the BJP's media head is not to be taken seriously at all. As far as the Prime Minister is concerned, well, he's the Prime Minister of India. You've taken, you're heading the G20 at the moment. Respect given to the Prime Minister is respect given to India.
हर सरकारों में G20 का सवाल हो, शिखर सम्मेलन का सवाल हो, देश के प्रधानमंत्री अन्य देशों के प्रधानमंत्री से बातचीत करते रहते हैं। इसके पहले देश के प्रधानमंत्री से नहीं मिले हैं क्या? मनमोहन सिंह से तो कई बार कई राष्ट्रों के प्रधानमंत्री राष्ट्राध्यक्षों से लगातार कान में बात करते हुए लोगों ने देखा है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Alright, joining us on the debate, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Sanju Verma, former Secretary of India, Kamal Sibbal, Ghanshyam Tiwari, National Spokesperson, Samajwadi Party, Ashutosh, Political Analyst, Lokesh Jindal, also Political Analyst. What do you make of the statement made today by the BJP, Mr. Ashutosh, where it was said that there was a time when Dr. Manmohan Singh returned from these summits and no one took note of India, to now when the Indian Prime Minister is sought out by world leaders, India has come a long way under Mr. Modi.
Make Narendra Modi great, or don't have to belittle the Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh, the ex-Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh. I think that's a sad part of it. Because if Mr. Narendra Modi is praised today, if India is appreciated, it's because India has reached to a position in world politics where no country can ignore India. And Mr. Narendra Modi representing India, he's being praised, that India is being praised. But to make Narendra Modi better than the rest and to go back to Manmohan Singh and remind to the whole world that nothing used to happen. I just want to, Mr. Kamal Sibbal is here and he can vouch better than me that how the world leaders used to praise Mr. Manmohan Singh. I just want to show you a little report which Newsweek has done in 2013, when he said that among the leaders whom other leaders love, and in that list Manmohan Singh was the number one. Imagine, he was a leader whose even the other big leaders used to love. And Mr. Barack Obama on record has said that he has been a great leader, incorruptible, and somebody we had always looked up to. And he has gone to write in his own memoirs that he used to seek advice from him on the economic matters.
Okay.
Mr. Gordon Brown has written that he was not only a great leader of India but about the world also. So my point is very simple, whether it is Manmohan Singh or Narendra Modi, if the World Forum, they are praised, they are appreciated, we all should feel proud.
Okay, Sanju Verma, why do you have to belittle Dr. Singh in order to make Mr. Modi seem good? Sanju Verma.
You know, Padmaja, with no offense to Ashutosh, since he commented on a statement from Barack Obama's novel, let me also say that Barack Obama had something to say about Rahul Gandhi. He said Rahul Gandhi has this nervous, unformed quality about him and is not fit to be a politician.
These are the ad verbatim words from Barack Obama's book. So if you use Barack Obama to justify the laurels he showered on Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, when he was the PM in UPA 1 and 2, please also take sportingly his uncharitable remarks on Rahul Gandhi. Now coming to the most important point, this is not a debate about Manmohan Singh versus Prime Minister Modi, but I believe, Padmaja, that what is diplomacy? I think Mr. Sibal is there, he will elucidate, but diplomacy is basically a velvet glove that cloaks the iron fist of power. This is a famous adage. And I think what it basically tells you is that, as part of diplomacy, you have to be sometimes very nuanced, subtle.
That is fine. But today the charge that was made was when Dr. Singh came back from the summits, no one cared. When he went to SARC, nobody asked him. But today suddenly India is, magnified because of Mr. Modi. Ashutosh says that is absolute bunkum. India has always been taken note of.
Padmaja, I heard what Ashutosh said. And I completely understand what he said. So let me please rebut him. I won't take too long. What I'm trying to say is that Prime Minister Modi has mastered the art of soft diplomacy, and he also plays muscular diplomacy when the need arises. Let's be very clear, Padmaja. I remember 3 years back when the ASEAN summit was held in Bangkok. Prime Minister Modi refused to sign the RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. And I dare say, everyone right from the media to leftist academicians to the opposition said, "Arey baap re, RCEP sign nahi kiya, now India is going to suffer." And today, 3 years hence, Modi's staunchest critics say that had we signed the RCEP, we would have been the Sri Lanka way, because RCEP wanted us to reduce our subsidies to virtually zero. And these are the same people who want higher MSP prices for farmers, but on the other hand want you to sign the RCEP also. And let me tell you one more thing. You look at the body language. There is one thing about diplomacy called dialogue. The other thing is about keeping channels of communication open. I can see that smirk on your face, Padmaja, but let me tell you, diplomacy is also about body language. कंधे झुकाकर, coming to the US president, ये पहले जमाने की बात कर रही हूँ. Yes sir, I'm planning to report to you, all is well in India. And today Joe Biden walks up to Narendra Modi and गले मिलते हैं.
पहले आंखें झुकाकर, आज आंखें मिलाकर.
पहले कंधे झुलसे हुए थे.
पहले कंधे झुके हुए थे.
I think we are basically insulting our great leaders who had led this country in the most turbulent times. Be it Jawaharlal Nehru, be it Lal Bahadur Shastri, be it Indira Gandhi, be it Morarji Desai, be it Charan Singh, be it Rajiv Gandhi, be it Narasimha Rao, be it Manmohan Singh, be it Atal Bihari Vajpayee. When she is saying कि कंधे झुका के करते थे तो अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी भी कंधे झुका के. Let's not insult our great leaders.
उनके कारण तो न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम इतना सक्सेसफुल रहा. मैं मनमोहन सिंह की बात कर रही हूँ.
Okay, one by one, please, one by one. Please, one by one.
बोल देने दीजिए. मैं सिर्फ न्यूज वीक की एक और रिपोर्ट 2010 की पढ़ के सुना देता हूं. But it's a Singh's unassuming personal style that really inspires awe among his fellow global luminaries who praise him for being modest, humble and incorruptible. जो बहुत चीखते हैं ना, उनसे सीखने की जरूरत नहीं है. आपको मोदी जी की तारीफ करनी करिए, लेकिन आप मनमोहन सिंह को
मोदी जी के बारे में कभी तारीफ सुननी पसंद नहीं आती और ऊपर से आपको न्यूट्रल जर्नलिस्ट कहते हो. न्यूट्रल जर्नलिस्ट कहना बंद हो.
Okay. Let's not make this personal. Let's get in the ambassador. Let's get in the ambassador to dial down the tension at this point.
Just 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds, Ashutosh. Yes.
I don't want to get into argument with somebody who has not been taught civility in debate.
Okay, again, this is getting personal. So please let me get in, Mr. Kamal Sibal. Mr. Sibal, do you think there is any substance in the argument to say that earlier India did not have the kind of presence that it does now?
Well, that is true because in the preceding years, India's stature on the global stage has grown immensely because of our economic growth, because of a strong leadership. Because the initiatives we have taken on the global stage, which have carved out a position of great respect for us. Look at, for example, in the pandemic issue, we supplied millions of shots to various countries. We are in a position to export food. We are growing at a rate which is the highest in terms of the largest economies, according to the IMF and World Bank. In the area of digitalization, we made tremendous progress, and some of the things we have done are now being actually sought by developing countries to replicate in their own countries. So in many areas, climate change, for instance, we've taken the initiative to be seen as a leader in terms of dealing with the climate issue. Whereas in previous years, where our situation was a bit different and our approach was different, we were being looked upon as an obstructionist power. Now we are looked upon as a country which provides leadership. And Prime Minister, for example, in terms of setting up the International Solar Alliance with France, some of the other ideas that he has projected on the international stage, for example, the latest one, lifestyle for environment. Many of these things actually have resonated internationally and placed us in a position of leadership. In terms of energy transition, we are doing very well. We are the only country which has met our targets which were set out in the Paris Agreement. So in that sense, yes, our voice is heard, we are respected. But I think we should be a little careful not to politicize this too much, because our leaders at various stages of our development in the past had a certain amount of capital that they could play with. Now the capital has increased a great deal, and therefore Prime Minister Modi is able to utilize that capital very effectively. But I must also say that he gives the image of a very strong leadership. He makes his ideas have an impact on the global mind. He is respected. So therefore, without going into comparisons, we shouldn't belittle the new style of leadership and the new prestige that India has gained under his leadership.
Okay, Ghanshyam Tiwari, it's a new style of leadership. Nobody can take away from the fact that Mr. Modi has a certain presence, and as Sanju Verma said, a body language that seems to convey a more strident message that India is not a pushover anymore. And at least on some issues, there was an effort earlier to try and walk all over India. Climate change, for example, where India was told, oh, you must cut down your carbon emissions even though you are a developing country, and the US had a much larger carbon footprint. Now India is saying, no, I'm sorry. Back off.
I think we should not use the forum to spread fake news. Here is an article from Times of India, Economic Times, The Hindu. Manmohan calls for UN reform to address global crisis, 24 September 2011. That's again, every time BJP uses fake news to bolster Narendra Modi's leadership, it reflects poorly on Narendra Modi ji himself and BJP. So please don't use fake news. There is enough original news to tell you, tell the world that Mr. Modi, I was not heckling you. I was not heckling you.
Okay, let's leave Uttar Pradesh out of it for a second. We've gone straight from G20 to Uttar Pradesh. Mr. Sibal wants to make a point that I really must bring in Lokesh Jindal. Yes, Mr. Sibal.
With regard to our CEP, let me remind everybody that we very sincerely participated in negotiations for the NPT and the CTBT till the last minute. But eventually what emerged was against our interests. So at the very last minute, we signed neither of these two. So the fact that we were honestly negotiating the RCEP and then we couldn't get satisfaction on some very key issues, then we were facing a dilemma. Shall we go ahead or shall we step back? And Narendra Modi stepped back. This was to protect our interests. So therefore, let's not use this RCEP to say that there was a failure of leadership. With regard to Xi Jinping, our relationship with Russia is very different. We are not at war with Russia. Russia has not massed 50,000 troops on our border. There is a war in Ukraine. It is affecting the developing countries. We want to speak for the global south. Therefore, the Prime Minister in a general way says that this is not an era of war, but this is equally directed to the West because they are fueling the conflict by constantly arming the Ukrainians, and they don't talk about the dialogue at all. Even today they are saying we are given so many billions of dollars of additional arms aid to Ukraine and all that. But with regard to China, we have stood up to China, our forces are on the border, we have engaged in 20 rounds of negotiations with China. Our foreign minister constantly says there can't be normalization of relationship unless the situation on the border is normalized. Now, if there is a courtesy exchange at Bali, which is quite normal when you are in the same room, let's not look upon it as some kind of a concession that we have made to Xi Jinping. Our policy of not accepting normalization of ties unless China actually restores the status quo ante in some ways on the border is going to continue. And if China wants to talk to us, why should we refuse? China, let China take the initiative. If they take the initiative, this will mean that they are in a mood to move forward constructively, and then we'll see what can happen, but it is not for us to take the initiative.
In fact, the China example is very apt, Lokesh Jindal, because always it's been said in Galwan, despite the aggression, China was forced to disengage after multiple rounds of talks, something that still hasn't happened after the colossal mistake of 62. 50 years and counting, we are still not given any reparations for that historical blunder, whereas here we have made China pull away. How's that for comparison between different styles of leadership? Lokesh Jindal.
First of all, Padmaja, how can we forget the subprime crisis of 2008, followed by the Eurozone crisis of 2010, when the entire globe was looking for some form of a solution. We had Prime Minister Manmohan Singh attending the Toronto Summit 2010, and the entire global leadership applauded Manmohan Singh's vision of giving the solution of fiscal stimulus. India was able to duck the economic slowdown, and still we were able to carry forward the growth momentum. I mean, all this form of rubbish statement given by these BJP people
about China, apples to apples comparison.
I'll come to China. First of all, any form of a statement against Manmohan Singh ji is all showing their inferiority complex. They don't know anything about history. They are only blind bhakta. Please maintain sanity, please. So when you're talking about such form of
again, we are going to go down into a very personal rabbit hole. So please stick to the point. Go on, Lokesh Jindal, please. Nothing personal.
When we talk about when we talk about Prime Minister Narendra Modi, if he's talking about the Galwan crisis, why is it that the largest bilateral trade that we are having it is with China? See, there is a different form of the Prime Minister at home, and there's a different Prime Minister outside. I mean, over here, when he's giving the rhetoric, 20 soldiers were killed. And when the Galwan attack occurred, at that point of time, he was giving all rhetorics of nationalism. And then, right now, when she talks about the body language, let me tell you, वो आँखों में जो लाल आँखें थी, वो लाल कपड़े बन गए. And then he is giving his hand, and suddenly there is another Bharat Milap that is happening.
कपड़े और आँखें बाद में देखते रहेंगे. The fact is, हमारी जमीन तो हमारे पास है ना. And that even China has accepted that they are disengaged. अब अभी तक कपड़ों पे लटके हुए हैं.
This form of a propaganda that BJP is spreading, that there was a unilateral withdrawal of troops, this is wrong. Even now the China has positioned itself at an advantageous position, and it is still controlling significant blocks in the Galwan Valley area.
Okay. Quick rebuttal, Sanju Verma. Then I have to bring in Mr. Sibal. Yes.
Padmaja, first and foremost, let me tell Lokesh Jindal and Ghanshyam Tiwari, you both said that the BJP is suffering from inferiority complex. समाजवादी पार्टी आज एक भी राज्य में भारत में सत्ता में नहीं है. BJP rules more than 52% in terms of geographical area and more than 55% in terms of India's population. So do not accuse us of having inferiority complex. We are very well grounded. And as for Lokesh Jindal, let me tell you, you passed a personal remark at me. I will not comment on that. But your neta said, "लड़की हूँ, लड़ सकती हूँ." उत्तर प्रदेश में शर्म आती है कि नहीं हंसते हुए? 2 सीटें मिली हैं.
Okay. This is not about Uttar Pradesh. Please, I am really out of time, so I'm going to have it to end it over there. But every time we are talking about the change in style of leadership, change in style of diplomacy, there will always be a comparison thrown up. The fact is, for whatever reason, like the ambassador said, it is because of India's growing heft that yesterday Indian diplomacy, the Indian Prime Minister is taken note of, his heft has grown, but also there's a style of leadership there. And as for Dr. Manmohan Singh, before I thank all of our guests, thank you gentlemen, thank you Sanju Verma, I want to play out this clip from Times Now from a few years ago about Dr. Manmohan Singh and the message that he gave at G20. I'll leave you with this. Thanks very much for joining us.
It's a welcome reversal of roles, or so it appears, for India at the ongoing G20 summit in London. From being told what to do, now it's India that's advising the world, especially on the current global financial crisis. Clearly a reflection of India's mettle on the global stage. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has sent out 4 hard-hitting messages to world leaders on ways to tackle the global economic downturn. Times Now has been able to access excerpts of his speech. First, the Prime Minister has urged the biggest economies to loosen their purse strings. Second message from India to G20 is to take the toxic assets out of the financial system. The Prime Minister has underlined the need to restore access of funds to emerging economies like India. And fourth, hard-hitting message is to be very wary of protectionist policies. In fact, to resist adopting any protectionist policies.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break. Hour at 10. The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आपको सब फिल्म स्टार ही चाहिए मथुरा में।
नहीं हेमंत
कन्हैया जी ने भक्त चाहिए कल रात की सावन का।
The News Hour at 10.
Hello and welcome and a very good evening. This is News Now Overnight and I'm Siddharth Talia. Let's take you through the top 50 headlines at the top of this hour at 11 o'clock. In the Gori Delhi murder case, accused Aftab Poonawalla was taken to the jungle in Mehroli where he allegedly disposed of parts of Shraddha's body. This after about 10 samples of suspected human remains were recovered yesterday. Now, according to reports, details of Aftab's meticulous planning for Shraddha's killing shows criminal intent as well as execution. He also cleaned up DNA evidence using chemicals.